Yeah, let's go. I'm unstoppable, do the impossible. I'm irresponsible, yeah, I'm phenomenal. I got an arsenal, I'm dropping bombs, you know. No, I'm not stopping, no. Conquer the obstacle. To the top, here I go, think I'm chosen to be the king of rock, think the people have spoken. I can hear the tick-tock of the clock, I'm in motion. So now I'm gonna pop, causing all this commotion. Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fat Boy Cartel podcast. This is episode 4 of our show here on YouTube. And if you're finding us for the very first time, please hit that like and subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can find all the notifications when we put up new content on our channel as well. My name is Eric, and I am your moderator for the show. You can find me on Twitter at EricJell, Jell with the J. Right below me is the Crimson Saint, Tony. You can find him at Crimson Saint on the Crimson Saint on Twitter. You've got Mr. Get Subbed on the bottom left corner there, Brandon. And you can find him at Mr. Get Some on Twitter. And you got the good Dr. David at the top left corner. You can find him at Dr_D11SIX on Twitter. Did I get that right? I hope so. All right, cool. Thumbs up. I'll take it. All right. That's a little difficult to remember. But anyway,
this is the laziest fucking podcast I have ever seen in my life.
Well, I mean, you know.
Oh, and by the way, the reason why you hear my sweet, sexy voice and don't see my face is because my titties are out. Look, man,
I'm glad he made that announcement. Like
we just put it
right
out
the
there.
gate, out the gate. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
I feel like we all.
My face, but everybody was like, "Oh no, your titties is out." And I'm like, "Look, man, my nipples look good." They're like, "Nah, you need to put some cocoa butter on them." And I'm like, "I ain't got none."
I don't remember anybody saying that.
I never said cocoa butter. I'll say
like
that.
first of all, like why the hell would why would any of us commentate on your ashy nipples? Like I didn't even know it was ashy.
Look,
to be honest,
my nipples ain't ashy
right now.
Right? They smooth.
Then why you need cocoa butter in your nipples?
Because that's what y'all was saying. You said they look horrible.
No, we didn't. Nope. Matter of fact,
this did not have unity meaning. I swear to God.
I swear to God, it was no conversation about your nipples. Well, there were conversations about your
kind of like
nipples.
when he said that you can't mention Tiger Mask last week. You know that still happened. That was never a thing. But but anyway, so how's everybody doing? Everybody have a good week or not so much? I mean, just trying.
It seemed like this was the longest fucking week ever, man.
Yeah,
I know this week drug on.
Yeah, I know.
This week was one of those.
Of course, every week it feels like work never ends for sure. But
yeah, this was like one of those forget me weeks, like for real. Like I was dumb.
Hey, why David look like the dude that's about to draft for the worst team in the NFL?
Like he's sitting like
a war room,
man.
And he's back there looking at the scrubs that came out of high school.
Well,
like, I know they're gonna pick me.
David got the 900th pick in the 15th round.
And that's his first selection. He's really excited about it. But hey,
they call his name. He just stands up, does that, and sits back down.
I mean, he does kind of have this Bill Belichick thing going on if he had like a ginger beard. So
wow, he does have a ginger beard.
With the 900th pick, the Damon Knights choose fucking Wally Sampson from Astoria High School, place kicker. Yeah, something like that.
Damn, he picked a place kicker.
The 900th pick or whatever they said. Wow, that kicker went high.
That's his team, the Damonites.
The Damonites?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
Hey, you don't look better. You look like you about to pick for the Jets. Quiet.
Oh.
I guarantee you Damon's team can beat my old high school team, though. Our high school team football sucked.
Ours didn't.
Sorry, Blue Jacket fans.
Pretty sure it was Mitchell?
Yeah, it was bad. I mean,
nobody
from Mitchell's watching anyway. Yeah,
like the Raiders were like the Harding Raiders back home in Ohio. Like, we was crushing it.
I was gonna say the Oakland Raiders or the Las Vegas Raiders ain't very much better either.
Nah, boy, Orangey Harding Raiders, bro, they was killing it.
Pretty sure Mitchell's like a 3A school, anyways.
I really didn't follow their high school sports enough to know, to be honest. I just know I went some of the games.
I just know Bloomington North and South are 5A.
Tony, who was it that y'all knew? He played for Ohio State and then he got in all that trouble. Yeah, Maurice Claret. That's who it was.
Ooh. Yeah, went to school with him.
In the categories of people we don't know.
Yeah.
You know, hey. But this football conversation is a good little bit of a transition into. We're going to do a little bit of NFL news. We've kind of talked about maybe we might incorporate that into shows a little bit more when there's news to talk about. Obviously, during the offseason, there's not a ton of news to go over. But we did have a few things we wanted to talk about when it comes to the NFL, mostly regarding the draft, but we'll get into that here in a minute. Before we get started, though, we're all NFL fans, so we kind of thought we'd maybe talk about, when we became fans of the NFL, how we became fans of the NFL. Is there a particular game that made us fans? So I just thought we'd maybe start off with that and maybe kind of give everybody a little bit of a history of why we're into the game itself.
So there wasn't a particular game for me. Legitimately, what it was at the time, my cousin had an Emmitt Smith jersey, and I wanted one. So that's how I started watching football. And I think the first football game I actually watched was a Dallas Cowboys game. And coming from a household that was legitimately Pittsburgh or Cleveland, and then everybody else in my family is either. So in my family, there's Cowboy fans, there's Pittsburgh fans, and then the only odd ducks are myself and my other cousin, who is a diehard Raiders fan. And then me being a Colts fan. No, not. I'm talking about as a kid, and like by, other relatives. But that's it. That's as far as it goes. Either Dallas, Pittsburgh, or like I said, me and my cousin are the only two odd ducks out of the group. But yeah, my first team though, the first team I ever watched was the Dallas Cowboys, and it was all because I wanted an Emmitt Smith jersey. And then that's when I started watching Cowboys, and Michael Irvin, Elway, and then kind of went from there. And then not Elway, Jesus Christ.
I was say Elway was never on the Cowboys.
Troy
Aikman. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Aikman, not Elway. Jesus.
Boy, Nate would be so disappointed.
Oh,
wait till I tell him.
And then there was, that's when, and after, Deion Sanders and all that other shit. Yeah, I can't say there was an actual game or I watched the Super Bowl. No, it was legitimately my cousin had an Emmitt Smith jersey and I wanted one.
Gotcha.
That's what started my trip into football.
But you said, when did you become a Colts fan? When you moved?
No, long before that.
So I was gonna say, in Ohio, it's interesting to be a Colts fan from Ohio.
No, Peyton Manning. I can't remember which game that was that I actually watched, and I was like, I like the Colts now.
It might be the same one for me, and we'll get into that here in a second. But anybody else want to talk about their first experiences with football or NFL in particular?
Super Bowl 39.
Super Bowl 39. Who was that? Yeah. That was New England and somebody.
New England and Philly.
Philly. Okay, so their second Super Bowl, I believe. I think maybe they're third. Maybe they're third.
It was their third. 36, 38, and 39.
Okay. So just that's kind of made you a Patriot fan from that game, or just the season, or just the game alone?
The game.
Okay.
They won. I was like, ooh, I'll cheer for the winners.
Hey, it's a good place to start, I suppose. Everybody starts in different places. What about you, Tony?
I got hungry and followed a football or ice cream truck to a football game, and I was like, "Oh, look at this shit going on!"
All the way in Carolina?
Huh?
All the way in Carolina?
No. This was before that.
Okay, gotcha.
So then I got my WWE Superstars ice cream bar and went back home, and then in 1995 I became a Carolina Panthers fan. My household was always a Steelers fan, a bunch of dirty fucks.
Wow. Yeah.
Like that Pittsburgh Steelers, a rotten ass fucking team. Only fucking Hill Jacks and meth heads like Pittsburgh.
You might want to tell your wife, Brandon.
Nah, she'll watch the video.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So what led you to Carolina? Just out of curiosity.
Their jerseys, I like the colors.
Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah, I got some cool jerseys. Just the powder blue kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Because
like we call it Carolina blue.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess the powder blues are the Chargers, but yeah, you're right.
We call it Carolina blue.
Get it right, boy.
You pounded, bitch.
Wow. All right. It's on. As for me, obviously, I became a Colts fan. I believe it was 2002 or 3. It was the year after the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And the Colts went into Tampa on Monday Night Football. I was in college. There was nothing else to watch because I had 3 channels. So at the time, it was on ABC. It was the only channel I could pick up from the location I was at on an antenna. And wasn't really a fan. I was sitting there doing my college homework, and it was the game where they were down, 21 or 24 points with 4 minutes to go in the game. Yeah. And the Buccaneers were already, celebrating the win because they're Super Bowl champs. They think, the Colts ain't got a chance. And this just so happens to be Indianapolis Colts head coach Tony Dungy's birthday. And he's the former head coach of the Buccaneers. And he goes back in there, and Peyton Manning leads him back to tie the game and go into overtime, and we win it in overtime. And ever since then, I've just kind of been hooked. And I'll never forget watching the evening news after the game. Then I'll never forget the guy who did the sports section said, for all you people who turned off Monday Night Football, this is why you never turn a game off until the clock is 0-0-0. And so ever since that point, you can almost say it was Peyton Manning, but the entire team won me over. And ever since, I've been diehard. So... after that, it was probably just a few Super Bowls here and there, but then probably around 2005 when the Colts really started, like around 14-2 seasons, that's when I was hooked, and I never looked back since. So, hopeful for this season for sure.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, about that. We'll see how Wentz goes. I know you guys, you got some thoughts on that for sure. Maybe we'll see how it goes.
For sure. Like, why? Any sane person would.
Well, I agree. There's some concern. My concern right now is the left tackle position, but we'll get into that when we do the draft stuff. But one of the big news or stories that came out of the NFL this week was actually the night of the draft. Aaron Rodgers apparently wants out of Green Bay. Yeah, go ahead, Brandon. What was your thoughts?
So, I was talking to Barkus. I don't even know why, because he wants to talk about the Dolphins.
Yeah, Dolphins fan. Yep.
So again, Barkus, fuck them Dolphins. Anyway,
subscribe, Marcus.
Fuck them fish.
Yeah.
Fuck them. But we were talking about that, and I go, I wonder if he'll end up doing, because I don't think he wants to not necessarily play football. I just think he wants out of Green Bay. And I'm like, I wonder if he'll do what Brett Favre did, retire just to get out and then go somewhere else.
It's possible. But then there's also there was talk the last couple of days now that apparently Adam Schefter, who I guess ran the story on draft day, I don't know if it's true or not, but someone said that he didn't even have sources and he just kind of threw the story out there. If that's the case, you should not be creating drama like that. Now, that doesn't sound like Adam Schefter.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Really? I mean, I know a lot of times from what I've seen, his scoops are pretty accurate, but
I don't know, man. It's been all over the place that they're, Aaron Rodgers either wants out or he's not happy where he is. But...
Well, right. I mean,
no, I don't think he's been happy since they drafted fucking Hundley.
Okay. Well, I know for a long time
that's been a while ago.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the organization has not done a whole lot to put weapons around him sometimes, especially in the first round.
After they lost Jennings and
oh crap, I can't think of his name.
The name Jordy comes.
Jordy Nelson.
Yeah. Jordan. Yeah.
After they lost those two, it's been shit for Rodgers.
Receiver, especially. I mean, they've had a few good guys here and there, but it's not like number one studs.
The only other one that's stepped up is he wore number 17.
Oh, Devontae Adams. Yeah, and he's a stud.
Yeah,
he's
Adams is still good, but outside of Adams, it's nobody.
Mm-hmm. Now, granted, Rodgers has made those guys better, just like Peyton Manning used to make some guys better. And I do think Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay has a stud running back. But I mean, I can understand his frustrations, especially you're switching coaches, and I mean, I know he's kind of just butted head with the front office for a long time. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he just holds out. Now, granted, there's also talk that apparently there's a lot of guys in the NFL. Apparently, if teams trade them before June 1st, that they have to pay them more of their contract. But if they wait until after June 1st, they get a reduction on how much they have to pay. So we may see some of these guys traded in about a month's time from now. And if that's the case, we very well could see Rodgers. I know Denver has been putting together big trade packages to try to get him, but I don't know if they're going to pull the trigger on it or if Green Bay even wants to let him go. That's another concern. But
I mean, I can tell you right now, Green Bay, as they said draft night, just no.
Well, I mean, they would have. I mean, you could clean up with it.
They weren't even. I mean, you could get a lot of good stuff for them, but they're like.
I mean, let's be honest. This is probably not the first time that he's mentioned that he's upset. If they were going to get rid of him, they would have had the ball rolling, so they could have got one of the top 5 picks to get their quarterback in the future.
True.
I mean,
that's the thing. I don't think they want to get rid of him, but he wants out.
Right. Well, if it comes down to it, he just won't play. So
yeah, and he'll probably still get paid. Either way, it's not like he needs the money anyway. I mean, the
Oh,
dude.
he's got more money than God. So he's
Yeah.
fine.
So, I mean, but it is interesting to note that the Green Bay Packers have never had a quarterback play 17 seasons. The closest were Bart Starr, 16 seasons. Brett Favre, 16 seasons. And Aaron Rodgers would be entering his 17th season. So, that's just kind of an interesting note that's never happened in Green Bay. So, we'll see what happens there. But to kind of wrap up the NFL talk, like I said, the draft was last week. So I thought it'd be interesting to kind of maybe go around the panel here like we did before the draft, discussing what we wanted the teams to do. What do we think about our teams and what they actually did do in the draft? Were we happy about some of the picks? Not happy about some of their picks? Just what are general thoughts on that?
I'm fine with how New England drafted after the first round. I'm still confused as fuck with the Mac Jones pick.
Do you think Cam Newton would be the future, or do you think that's kind of what they're doing?
No, Cam Newton is not the fucking future in New England.
Well, yeah, I didn't think
I still don't know why you would draft a quarterback first round when there's other needs.
It's a good point. And especially like receiver and things like that. They could definitely
Yeah,
some help at. Yeah.
because Edelman's retired this year.
Did you hear what Tom Brady said about that?
To get a quarterback. I mean,
No.
Yeah, Tom Brady said that he's, or at least he speculated that he's only retiring so he could get out of New England, and then once he's let go, he'll end up like Gronk and go because he wants to come to Tampa Bay. Now I'm not, or at least I heard that.
oh, yeah.
Don't quote me on
it's
that.
New England light down there in Tampa Bay, so I mean that's fine and dandy.
Yeah.
Never say
There's-
never.
2 players. Tom and Gronk are the only New England players that went down to
Yeah,
Tampa.
so it's New England light. I mean, who else were the fucking players on New England? I mean,
No.
Hold on.
What made that team go?
There was
When you say
3
New
players
Name
because
first-
wasn't if I'm not mistaken, Antonio Brown was on the New England roster, wasn't he not?
Yeah,
For a day, a week.
Day.
A week.
Doesn't matter. He still was on the roster, so he was a Patriot.
Well,
He also went to Tampa Bay.
to be fair, a lot of the years the New England Patriots had great success and won Super Bowls. They had good defenses, good run games, all that too. They necessarily weren't
Don't
big
forget
name
they had a
guys
kicker to win the game for him too. So yeah, there's that.
at times. But I mean, a lot of times they were able to win with names that were not considered superstars.
I'm gonna kick a field goal in the last 3 seconds because I played pussy football.
Wow.
Bruh.
I'm sorry, David.
Bruh.
It's
It's nothing fucking new.
yeah. The Patriots have got this shit.
You dirty fucking cheating pricks! I hate you guys. Fucking inbred Steelers. Jesus Christ! Fucking you beat my Panthers with a field goal. You fucking.
Oh, that's where this comes from. Okay.
Time out. But y'all remember the time that Pittsburgh beat
What do you mean, remember time?
the shit out of the Panthers? You remember that game?
Wait, who? What? I'm sorry. What did you say?
The game where Pittsburgh ran the score up so high, they ended up taking all their starters out and played their secondary for the last quarter.
You need to give me some proof of that. I don't know what the fuck you talking about.
I do, because that's the game I will never forget, because that's the game in the fantasy league where Miranda beat the shit out of Chris because she had all Steelers, well, half the Steelers roster was on her team, and they ran this, and she had Christian McCaffrey. She had Christian McCaffrey as her running back in that game, and he was the only one that played football that night. The Panthers got fucking destroyed that game.
Probably not. I want to see a score. Give me a score. Give me a game.
Hold on.
Oh, here we
I'll
go.
pull it up.
Well, while we're waiting on Brandon to pull it up, Tony, what do you think about the
Ben's
Panthers
too busy
draft?
raping women to go.
Oh
ahead and
my, never mind.
Wow.
I was trying to move on.
Nah, nah.
No.
Yeah.
But what do you think about the Panthers draft, Tony?
I was happy with the Panthers draft,
Yeah.
to be honest. Quite frankly, I don't know why we took so many fucking cornerbacks. We had J.C. Horn, okay,
Yeah.
fine and dandy. Let's move on from the quarterback position. I don't think we need fucking specs we got. But hey, that's all right. I still think we did good. I'm happy. We addressed some needs. I think we will be a force to be reckoned with this year, even with Sam Darnold.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, to me, obviously it depends a lot on Christian McCaffrey, but I think he'll be ready to go. I don't see why. What did he hurt? Do you remember?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
What did Christian McCaffrey hurt himself on last year? Like, what was his injury?
I want to say it was an ACL or MCL.
Some sort of leg injury. That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the offense
we
clearly.
drafted Chuba Hubbard this year, so I mean, I think he's going to be the nice replacement for Mike Davis, who went to the Falcons.
Okay.
So the kid's young, he's got wheels on him, and he's a stud. So I'm really happy about that.
Okay. Did they do anything to address? Was it Curtis Samuel who left?
We actually did draft 2 wide receivers. I'm trying to think of who they are. They were in the later rounds, but we have somebody who is how they described him as Kermel as Curtis Samuel-esque.
Oh, okay.
So I can't think of his name. Like I said, it was a late round pick.
But in the same vein of the type of receiver, yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Did you find that, Brandon, or no?
Yep.
Okay.
November 8th, 2018. This is when Miranda was playing fantasy football with us that year. The score was 21-52. I know you remember that game, Tony, because Miranda texted you when it was happening. Matter of fact, you two were talking when it happened, and you stopped talking shit after the second quarter?
It's because I had to go to bed, first of all.
Nah.
To be honest, I'd probably would have blocked that out of my memory, too. I remember when Jacksonville ran all over Indianapolis. That was horrible. But the Colts won the Super Bowl that year, so I digress. But
that was the year that was that the year that Le'Veon Bell was doing that holdout shit, and then James Conner just kind of took over.
What, with the Colts?
I think you're thinking of
No.
2019.
2018 or 2019?
19.
The year? Okay. I can't remember which year it was that Le'Veon
Last
didn't
year
play.
was his first year. 2020 was his first year with the Jets, I believe. And
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right.
and he didn't do shit.
Isn't he in Kansas City now, though?
Well, he played for the Jets.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Didn't do much there either.
So
But a lot of it's probably age with Le'Veon Bell and things like that, too.
Ego.
He's going
Little
to...
dick.
I wouldn't know. But Brandon, what do you think the Steelers or the Colts? Well, you're a Colts fan too. You're more of a Colts fan than Steelers.
Don't say 2. Like, don't do that.
Yeah, I forget. I always associate Steelers with you because of your wife Miranda. But
That's fine.
I don't know why. But you're a Colts fan. So what do you think the Colts did?
I mean, we talked about this at work. My concern was along the same line as yours. Our offensive line was what I felt we needed a lot of work in, and we needed some other people to get the ball too. And I told you, as long as we address those issues, I'm perfectly fine with all that. And I didn't get to catch the whole draft because I'm a
Right.
but I wasn't upset about our first round pick either. So
yeah, I think Quiddy Pay is a good like I said in some of my YouTube videos that we needed edge rushers, and they took 2 edge rushers in the first 2 rounds. If they could be anything close to Freedy and Mathis, I think that's going to be an upgrade because that was one of our weakest spots. But like you mentioned, the offensive left tackle with Costanza retiring, they didn't really address it in the draft until the 7th round. They took a kid, I think out of Penn State. He was a guard, but he has played left tackle, so they could go there. But I also read this week that the Colts were meeting with left tackle Eric Fisher out of Kansas City, who was a former number 1 overall pick, but he is coming off an Achilles injury. I don't know if they're going to sign him or not. It probably all depends on the seriousness of his legit injury. But if he comes in here, that'll be great. If he could be what he once was, he may not play at the beginning of the season. As for the rest of the...
Quiddy Pay is going to do good things. Go Blue. Yeah. He's a Michigan boy. He's going to do great things for you guys.
And like I said, when we were talking about this, like my concerns were a lot of yours because like last year we got to see where a lot of our holes were. Well, for the last couple of years, we've seen a lot where our holes have been, and like, but the thing is, like, I know what we can be and where we were before, and I would like to get back to that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But as you mentioned, it kind of flows how Wits goes.
Yeah, there was a couple of games last year where I was like, you know, if we would have had those improvements then, like, what was these 2 or 3 games that we lost because of our fucking kicker too.
Last year or the year before that? Because last year we had the rookie, the guy with the glasses.
Yeah.
So I think he did okay for his rookie year. But Adam Vinatieri, yeah, you're right. His last year, even last few years.
Yeah, Vinatieri's last year was.
I mean, we love Adam Vinatieri, you know, and I'm sure David has respect for him too from the New England days for sure. But there were times where he would miss like 20 to 30 yards, but he would nail the 50-yarders.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, but I mean, he would miss those too sometimes. It was just, you never could get a lot of consistency the last few years.
And again, my problem so you remember last year when we drafted Phillip Rivers, and I told you, I wasn't happy with that.
Yeah, a lot of people weren't.
And then he did there was moments where he shined.
There were.
But then a lot of those moments were outweighed by the times he fucking shit. Like,
well, he would overthrow guys and they'd get like intercepted, like way downfield. Which I give him credit for going deep with the ball because I did.
But don't. Either you play to your strengths or you don't. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, don't try to do more than you know you should be
Right.
and you're capable of doing. And he went to that way too many times.
Yeah, I just appreciated
was-
it because the previous quarterback didn't go as deep as often. But yeah, there are times it's going to burn you if you do let it sail. It's going to happen. But I mean, again, we'll see how Wentz goes. But as for the other picks the Colts took, they took a tight end, which I thought was like, why would you take a tight end at the 4th overall pick for us? It was our 4th round
Yeah.
pick. But then I realized, I didn't know this, but they let go of Trey Burton. And they didn't know at the time if they were going to have Mo Alley Cox back. They did finally sign him back, so now we've still got 3 tight ends. But
Okay.
they ended up losing.
I didn't know
one.
that.
Yeah, I didn't know
I
we
didn't know
lost
that
Burton.
one
I guess Burton's a free
wow.
agent now, so they replaced him with that. And from what I understand, he's a pretty good tight end. Got good hands, good speed. The rest of it was just kind of short up the secondary a little bit. They did take a receiver late. I know you talked about maybe wanting to get some weapons.
We could use a couple. Like, I'm not wrong there.
The dude's, yeah, you're right. The dude's 6'5". He's a good size. But again, they took him, I think, in the 6th or 7th round. So at that point in the draft, you kind of go, okay, he could be something, he could be nothing. So, but you could say that for every team. But you never know. You could strike gold.
But just like a lot of football, I mean, our quarterback is a staple point of your football team. Like, if he underperformed, then it's just shit. Like, it is what it is.
Well, you did hear the Colts took another quarterback in this draft too, right?
No.
In the sixth round, they took Texas quarterback Sam Ellinger, whose brother just passed away this week too. So our condolences to him. But yeah, they talk like that kid's pretty good. Now there was another 6th round quarterback who ended up being the greatest of all time, and Tom Brady. So you never know. But we've still got
round 6, pick 199.
But yeah, so we got him, and then we still got Jacob Eason that we drafted last year. So we've got a couple of options in case Wentz either gets hurt or is it up to snuff. So we'll see what they do.
He gets hurt is what you mean.
That's possible, but yeah. So with that, I guess we'll move on from the NFL talk tonight. But yeah, that was a good conversation. I like that.
I'm telling you, first game, it's gonna blow an ACL or some shit.
Oh, I hope not, man. I mean, I hope good things for Wentz. But like again, it just depends on the injuries. If he can stay upright, I mean, with Reich as the head coach, his offensive coordinator when he had his best year, I have hope. But yeah, you're right. There is concern there. All right, so let's move on to our next topic this week. What's our Would You Rather segment? Oh
God,
Tony had an idea for this one this week, so I'll let him go over what the options are for us to choose from if he's up for it. Is he alive?
Is he alive?
You kind of
this week's episode of Would You Rather.
speak up a little bit, buddy.
Yeah, you're too quiet.
What are you talking about? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Let me
Good.
turn my volume.
Okay.
The
There you
sultry
go.
sounds of the Crimson Saint.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He is half naked, probably sitting in a bubble bath.
Please
at this point.
don't turn on the webcam. Please don't turn on the webcam.
Actually, right now I'm sitting.
Got some candles
You
lit.
sound like Quagmire.
Oh God. No, he sounds like that one dude. Oh God, it's from Family Guy. I can't remember the guy's name though.
So what we're going to do now is we're just
Herbert.
going to talk.
God, I'm about to turn.
So
your
would you
phone-
rather
Okay, good.
sit in a let's see here, sit in a pool with a great white shark while you have a lesbian on her period strapped to your back, or would you rather give mouth to mouth to a piranha while you have a bloody lip?
Here's the thing. The shark's not really going to react to that situation.
Why? It's gonna smell that blood. It's gonna go
No.
nom 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 nom.
No.
Oh hey, a little nibble on your hairy
First of all,
leg.
it's not going to, because like sharks are ambush predators. So therefore, the pool's not deep enough.
Fucking
But
jackhead over here. What you mean sharks are ambush predators? That
They
smell
are.
blood in the water. Your ass is done.
no.
Would-
But-
are you a sub-
But
are you a
here's the thing.
submariner?
Here's the thing.
Aquaman?
I would still take the shark because I have an extra person with me. So therefore, she's not going to be attached to me very much longer anyway. So
You're gonna make sure you
point-
get there and wait.
Fair.
You take the butter
at
knife
that
and blast
point,
Man.
it is what it is. Like, fend for yourself. I'm out. Like, I ain't got no problem dunking your head underneath the water long enough for me to get out of the water.
Look, she's gonna take her Karen ass. She's gonna stop the shark and complain
Karen?
to the manager, and then you just,
Bro.
it's just go.
Excuse me, I need to see the undersea.
Where's the
manager.
lifeguard? I
Somebody
need to
get-
speak to the lifeguard.
Somebody get Poseidon.
David, which one you doing, Damon?
Is he combing
Right now
his
he's-
mustache?
Are you coloring your beard with the... That's
mean-
why it's orange. Got it.
I mean, that thing takes,
Damon,
time and
you ain't
patience.
Which one you doing, Damon?
Thinking, motherfucker.
Oh, okay.
That's how you think? You scratch your beard? Does it help your brain work?
Yes, it also keeps my ass awake. I go with the shark, I guess, because I can sacrifice a lesbian.
Well, the thing to me is like, if you go mouth to mouth with the piranha, I don't think you got much chance. At least with the shark in the water, he's not latched onto you yet.
So here's the thing with piranhas, though. You need a lot of them to do a lot of damage. One piranha's not going to be that much of a hassle. You can easily grab and take it off your face.
I'm
But
not giving
the
it mouth to
shark,
mouth.
regardless. Yeah, but the shark, regardless, even if it's a test bite to see whether or not you're edible,
Mhm.
it's mouth, like it's still, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Yeah.
significantly more damage. So again, if there's another person with me, somebody else is taking that hit. Like I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like it is what it is.
I mean, I guess I would probably take the shark, but I can't swim, so
You can't swim anyway. So
yeah, so I'm kind of screwed.
either way, you're
but
screwed.
he said it was in a pool. Maybe
Alright.
it's a pool that's not real deep.
Here
Maybe
we
I can
go.
stand up in it.
Would you rather part 2?
Okay.
So would you rather lick the urinal at a busy truck stop, or would you rather eat a toasted cheese that fell on the floor at an adult movie theater?
A toasted
Oh
cheese.
my
I'll be
god!
damned if I'm licking a urinal at a truck stop.
I'm hoping that the
You
adult.
would- wait,
Okay.
wait. You would rather eat the toasted cheese off the floor of an adult movie theater where they be jerking and quirking all day.
I'm hoping that in between showings that the theater crew cleans and wipes
There
the floor.
is no theater.
Good point.
It's like the fucking movies, Eric.
Well-
There's the right to refuse the answer.
That's a good point. Smart move, David.
Dude, I'm licking that urinal. I'm licking.
You
that urinal.
gonna get a bum bump
You know what?
and your tongue gonna fall
Look,
off.
I just said urinal. I didn't say where at, what part. I just said urinal.
I'm actually inclined to believe, or go.
I'm
with
not
Tony on this
licking
one.
the handle, none of that shit. You're going to a place where I promise the STDs floating around there are a lot worse.
At the truck stop.
Yeah,
Well,
you got
I mean-
lot lizards. They don't know where them truckers have been, to be honest with you. How long they
No, I think
spent
we're
on the road.
stereotyping
What you-
truckers.
what you
Solo
think of an adult movie theater?
or
They got fucking prostitutes. They got
same
fucking-
situation. Either way, you
I'm
walking out. Look, either one, you walking out scratching something different. Guarantee you.
Poor
You
David.
scratch-
Right there.
You scratching something.
Oh my
You
god.
gonna come out either with an uncomfortable cough or an uncomfortable itch. Guarantee you.
All right, last one. So,
Okay.
would you rather fight a flock of deers, or would you rather fight a flock of angry porcupines?
Hey, oh wait, hold up.
I'm talking. I guess we're assuming bucks with antlers.
Like-
not,
Well,
First
deers,
of all,
deers.
neither of those animals called
or
flocks.
flocks. Yeah, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's something else.
A herd of one,
Or a
and I don't know
school,
what
I
you
don't know.
call.
No,
a
motherfucker.
group
I
of
said flock.
porcupine.
I didn't say herd. I said flock. You got a
That's
flock
for
of deers.
birds.
That's what we're saying though. They're not called flocks. I don't think for.
They're for birds.
Or-
So
or
a
you got-
herd of deer.
You got a flock of deer, or you got a flock. Of
I tell you what,
angry
I'll take either
porcupines.
one of them because I highly doubt you're gonna see a flock of deer or a flock of porcupines.
Well, flock you, mother flocker. All right.
Flock of deer.
Is
So who you beefing with? Porcupines or deer? All right.
so like fist fight, right? Is what you're saying. So if you're in a situation, say you're out hunting, right? So you either you get ran up on by a deer or a very aggressive porcupine.
Fucking baby can catch these fucking hands.
You swinging on a deer, David? Just
Yes. Fucking demon deers are catching hands.
yeah.
No, it's
Yeah,
not. It's not a. It's not singular. It's plural.
Whatever.
As in-
Yeah,
Several.
deer.
Several deer catching haymakers. All right. Not punching a porcupine. That's how you get stabbed.
Them deer,
Deer-
You can
fuck
kick it,
you
though.
up.
This deer about to get pieced up, bruh. And then if his homies run up, they catching a cold one too.
Man,
Getting
that's the
fucking
sequel to Bambi.
plain simple.
Be out in the woods just sleeping deer.
Starring
Bam!
Braun Strowman. Get these hands.
Oh, you want a piece? Run up on me and see what happened to you.
Oh my god. I don't know. I mean, I'd probably take the porcupines. 'Cause I think I could kick them. As long as they don't start crawling up on me or something. That would
And
be
then
kinda...
you're gonna get spines in your
You ever
leg.
see the movie Critters?
You about to
It's been
get
a long
done
time.
in.
Yeah, there was like porcupines. There was alien
You're gonna be pincushioned. That's what's gonna happen to you. I'm out. Meanwhile,
Mhm.
me and Damon out here right hooking deers. And you
Just to
catch
get-
them spies.
Just to kind of go back to the urinal thing a little bit, this will give our audience a little bit of insight of what goes on in our private chat on Facebook. Tony brought up something this morning I thought was funny to where it would be funny to we're talking about here. What was it you said about you hate going to the bathroom and the toilet seat's warm?
Oh
Yeah,
God,
man, I went-
you
I-
two.
I was taking a shit at work this morning. I had to, man. It was like fucking 300 and fucking Gladiator was taking part in my stomach this morning, man. And my stomach lost. It was like that fucking kick off the fucking balcony into the pit. This is Sparta. And my stomach was like, the BGs won. And I'm not talking about the fucking group either. That was 16.
Bruh.
No, this was the BG's bubble guts. Man, I was blowing it up. So, anyways, I sat down and it was fucking warm. Like, I don't mean like warm, like lukewarm. I mean like motherfucker was just on it.
Wait. So somebody like legit got up
That-
and then
Why I don't shit in public.
And that's why you're gonna have shit stains in your underwear because you're gonna do this by accident and you're gonna have it's gonna slip out something.
you're gonna be mad constipated. Like you ain't gonna be able to shit for a week.
That-
on
that
shit.
is hard to believe you've never like had an
You gonna be
emergency.
already, you big ass mouse. You already gonna
Like-
be cheesed up.
Like
the
I,
last time I took a public shit was like 2012.
Jesus
what
Christ,
what traumatized you enough
for real.
that was like a thing?
What
I'm more
happened?
impressed
Did
that he
your foot
remembers the
slide
year.
under- Did your foot slide under the other stall and someone tried to grab your leg?
No, exactly what Tony's talking about. I
So you
hate sitting on warm ass toilet seats after somebody just gotten off of it.
Someone grabbed your foot.
Even in my own fucking house, I hate that.
So what is it like? Let me get this straight. So y'all rather just if you got a shit that bad, right?
I
you
get
go
a
into a
shit or
bathroom,
anything. I'm going
You
to
want that
bathroom.
seat to be cold as hell.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, man, but
Yes.
I'm telling you, it's something in the water or food at GM. Every time you walk into a men's room, it don't matter which one it is. It smells like fucking hot dick and ass. Just
No,
beefing,
listen,
like they
okay.
just fucking
Take an air freshener.
It's
So,
just,
Eric-
it's fucking horrible, man.
Eric, I may have told you this story. There was one time at work, I went to the bathroom, and there was what only I can assume was a tennis shoe size shit in the thing. Like it wasn't flushing. And
I'm not going to
the
name
water-
names because we're getting people in trouble.
Yeah. And I'm like, first of all, where did it come from?
I
But
got,
it was
I
like-
got my suspects.
It was like fist size, dude. Like it wasn't going down at all. And I'm like, who birthed this? First of all, it's a small child. I have two people in mind, and again, I ain't gonna say who they are, but Eric, you know one of them I was talking about, because that was like the only person I seen who came out of there, and I'm like, whoa!
I've got a
If
similar
you-
story.
If you were shitting Subway sandwiches,
$5, $5 foot long.
I'm not kidding, dude. Like this. Woo. Mm.
I love how where this topic derailed, but hey, that's part of the podcast. This is live,
was-
ladies and gentlemen.
I've got a similar
Massive.
story.
All right,
I've got a
David.
It was
similar story.
massive.
Go for it, David.
It was 2006. It was a youth group trip. We're down in Tennessee. We're staying at a college. All the boys are in one dorm, girls are in another. 2 bathrooms. I have to go take a shit. I go take a shit. There is just a mountain. of-
Just a mountain of shit.
yeah, it
On the toilet or in the
Soft-serve-
toilet?
in the toilet bowl.
Okay.
It's like soft served ice cream
Oh,
in a
my.
bowl.
This is...
Did it
It
crest? Did it come up past the toilet seat?
It damn near did.
Bruh, so you mean to tell me somebody just left a mountain, a pile, a literal pile?
Yes.
No plushies whatsoever, just a pile.
Oh, I thought you said plushies.
Yeah, no plushies.
Yes, it was purple and blue.
Well, no, wait.
Yes, because so for our
So like our
when
logo.
we're-
Bruh.
Yeah, pretty much.
David, look up and
But
goes.
apparently, so
Yeah.
the only thing we really had to drink that week was nothing but like the little Gatorade bottles, and that's all we had to drink that week.
Oh.
Oh.
I know we all know who did it. They will
Wait, so you
deny
know who did it?
It was
Oh,
a
yeah.
girl, wasn't it?
No, it was someone I've known since then. He'll
Okay.
he'll deny it to this day, but we all know it was him.
Wow. That's...
All right. So this has been Would You Rather?
Would you rather? Yeah. A lot of people are going, would I rather turn this show off or continue?
Not good or bad?
But hey,
Motherfucker never even turned it off.
yeah, that's not...
Don't
hey,
blame
hey,
you.
we'll get
Don't
there.
blame him,
We'll
but
get there.
please don't.
We're only 4 weeks in. You can't expect, everything overnight, obviously, which I know we don't, but it'll come,
So,
hopefully.
I'll save that story for another time.
All right.
Yes, let's do
All right.
shit story time
Yeah.
for next week.
We've got a lot more to cover before the show's over. Anywho, all right, so let's move into our movie news segment of the week. A lot of movie news dropped today. There wasn't a whole lot in regards to movie trailers. We did do a few trailer reactions though, so check those out on our channel.
I'm not about to do that.
But Tony mentioned earlier before we got to recording, a new movie's coming out next week called Spiral, which is a reboot, I guess, of the Saw franchise.
No,
starring
it's
Chris
not
Rock.
a reboot. It's,
Okay.
It's called Spiral from the Book of Saw, and
Okay.
basically it's picking up after probably the last Saw movie because they mentioned that Jigsaw is dead and the fact that it's a copycat killer, and so it's just another
Continuation.
iteration of Saw.
Okay.
Torture
called Saw now.
porn.
Yeah, I haven't seen the trailer, but and you know me, I'm not the biggest horror guy in the world, but I mean,
I thought you said for a hot second the biggest horror guy in the world.
I need
I'm
to
like,
enunciate better. I know horror, but so
horror.
yeah, horror, but
Horror.
but you're not a fan of Chris Rock being the lead, maybe?
Well, Chris Rock is in it as the lead, and then his father is played by Samuel L. Jackson,
Oh, okay.
who is a retired cop. So there's going to be a lot of motherfuckers, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I'm tired of this motherfucking puppet and this motherfucking movie.
At least they don't edit it. Hopefully, like they did the Snakes on a Plane on the TV version. Did you ever hear how they edited that?
God.
Mother flipping plane on this Monday to Friday play, or mother flipping snakes on this Monday to Friday plane. Yeah,
Oh my god.
terrible.
It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
So, I like Saw for me. Like I think Saw 4 was the last one, and then I watched it. I'm after that.
How many Saws are there now?
This would be Saw 9.
Saw 9. Oh,
9.
okay. You don't feel like it's the Fast and Furious of the horror franchise or the horror series?
It is. All it is.
I mean, a lot of horror movies do this. Don't get me
Saw
wrong.
is nothing but torture porn.
I mean, I've seen like
I mean, he ain't wrong.
Spoofs.
Torture, maybe, but I never found an urge to jerk it while I was watching Saw, that's for sure.
I think it's more
There
of
are
an
like
expression.
7 billion people on this planet. I'm sure someone whacks it to that.
There's probably something whacked to this fucking podcast just to see your sultry ass.
Man, okay.
What?
Where am I supposed to like go on from
Even Miranda looked at me
that?
like,
Yeah, like
What's with you guys tonight? Y'all saltier than mermaid pussy. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you.
yo. So that's the second time I've heard that.
where was the first? Tony?
Jim Cornette said it.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Good point. But anyway, I guess so. Are you guys going to go see Spiral or?
No,
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I don't mind. I'm not. Unless he does that Jedi mind trick thing she does to me half time when I don't want to do something, and then I'll go. All right, I'll go see it.
Gotcha.
Ooh.
You talking about? Oh,
Oh, wait. Oh, shit. Wait. I got to tell a story.
all right, go for it.
All right, Brandon. This is for Brandon, but the rest of y'all can listen. Do you remember when me, you, Hippo, Mama Hippo went up to Cleveland
And you almost killed me twice?
In the car, right? In the car.
Yeah.
You remember? You want to tell the guys that?
Elaborate.
All right. So we were going to this wrestling show out in Cleveland. It was me, Tony, Hippo, and Mama Hippo was his wife, right? We went to McDonald's before the show. All right, hold up. Time out. There's a reason why I fell too. So
that's right. What did I do?
We're leaving McDonald's, right? And I have my hands in my pocket. And like, when you know somebody well enough to know they're about to do some shit. That's how I know Tony. Hippo is in front of us going out the door. Mama Hippo's right behind him, and then I'm behind her, and Tony's right behind me. I look at Tony as we're going out the door, and I can tell because he has this. When Tony's about to do some shit, he has this smile on his face that means, watch this.
I'm about to get.
So I already knew something was about to happen. And when you go to McDonald's, like the drive-through lines, like right here or whatever, and then you cross the parking lot. So my hands are in my pocket, and I'm paying attention to him. There's a group of people right at the door, like in the table sitting there. So as we open the door to leave, Tony leans back and goes, like loud as shit. He barks inside this thing, and everybody jumps and stares at him at this point. I start laughing. I throw my head back, take a step off the curve, and just fall forward, like face first. Mind you, hands still in my pocket.
Oh,
so I'm like, bam! I never took my hands out my pocket.
You pulled an Orange Cassidy. Yeah.
Don't ever.
Wait, come on, have fun with it. Go. Anyway.
But I smacked the ground, and I'm still laughing face down in the dirt. So not only did Tony bark, which then made everybody look at me, but then I fall face forward, hit the ground. Mind you, none of these assholes helped me up. Because Tony kept walking.
They laughed, right?
Yeah, laughing his ass off. I finally get up to turn around to see everybody in McDonald's at this point now looking at me, and I'm like, all right. We get in the car. Tony backs out of the parking lot, turns on a one-way street the wrong way.
Into incoming traffic.
Into oncoming traffic. There's a lady in a car coming right for us. But there's a parking lot right over here that only goes in one way. The wrong way, because that's where Tony, at the last second, yanks the wheel. I look at this lady in her face. We make eye contact. She screams, I scream. Tony swings the car in. We
all scream for ice cream.
She slams on her brakes.
The machines are probably broken. It's McDonald's.
Tony hits the gas, and we speed through this parking lot, come down the other side, shoot it. The whole time, Tony's laughing like a fucking maniac. I almost died. April, or Mama Hippo, and Hippo are in the back seat, clutching each other, screaming. And I'm like, what the fuck? And Tony goes, I got this. I was like, no, you don't get to go fucking whoo after that.
So that brings me to the story that I'm going to tell you.
Then it gets worse when we get there to the show, too.
Oh, no.
A week or two ago, me, Laura, my niece Madeline, my niece Josie, and their mom, my sister Tammy, we're up in Carmel. And we're going to World Market up in Carmel. So I missed my turn. I missed my exit. I'm like, all right. So I'm driving down, and I put the GPS on just in case I missed something, because I'm like, I know I go up there often, but I know I'm good enough. So, anyways, I get on the off ramp, and it's a roundabout, but the fucking GPS says make a hard left. Okay, GPS says it. That must mean it's true.
You ever see The Office?
I make a hard left.
Oh, no.
First
As soon as I
mistake.
make that hard left, cars are honking and beeping and this and that because there's another car coming straight for us because it's a one-way. I was going the wrong way.
What is it with him with one-way streets?
God.
So,
Dude,
at the last minute, I again cut the wheel because it's like there's another ramp to get back on going the other way right there. I just had to make it through that first little obstacle. It said make a hard left, god damn it. I didn't realize I was really at a roundabout. I thought I was just at a turn. But yeah, there was someone coming the other way and I was going there and there's cars honking trying to warn me. Good thing I just cut that wheel and said, Jesus, we doing this.
Take the wheel.
Man,
he said, for the second time, I'm doing it again.
I got
And I was
this.
laughing my ass off the whole time there too.
Dude, he legit. After we come out of that parking lot, right, and we hit the right way at this point, he looks at me and goes, "Who? And don't you who me?" I saw the fear in that lady's face. We made eye contact.
She probably has nightmares about that night to this day.
No, he doesn't. He was laughing.
But you said it
the
was a she.
whole
No, I think
time.
it's-
Oh, Tony. Yeah, I meant her. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tony don't care.
Oh, for sure. Tony was laughing the whole fucking time. And then, so then we get to the wrestling show, right? There's a guy who used to be at all these shows, and he was a real,
He's a fucking mark.
yeah,
That's all.
like
He's a mark.
hard. But he's in the seat right in front of us.
And he's a tall motherfucker. He makes
Yeah.
you look short, Eric.
Man.
So, me and Tony are like here, Hippo and Mama Hippo over here, and then there's this lady and her grandson and her son are right next to us. Tony and this dude, because we know each other, start going back and forth. And like Tony's just going in on this cat. To where these 3 strangers, we have no idea, are getting a kick out of it so much that they are then inputting things into the conversation. And this is where the conversation takes this turn. And I've never laughed so hard in my life. Because the dude had said something to Tony about either his weight.
No, he was standing. He was like the only
Yeah, he
one
was standing up. He was the only one.
and sit
Yeah.
down. And he's like, stand your fat ass up.
And Tony goes,
Bruh.
"Listen here, Captain Comb Over." The moment he called him Captain Comb, my man's face deflated.
Wow.
He sat down.
And he started
And then-
fixing his hair. He started
Yeah, he started fixing his
He got
hair.
all subconscious.
And then from that
Self-conscious.
point on, it was us sitting there talking about his hair.
Oh,
What
we
we
roasted the
didn't
shit
know
out of
at that
him.
one
Just
point,
like
we didn't know at the time that his dad was there too and was sitting next to him. So the couple or the people that were sitting next to us, the one dude is laughing so hard he is beat red because we were sitting there talking about, I wonder if it's alive.
Oh, God.
What do you feed that thing? Like, for the wrestling show did not matter at that point.
No.
Once this was established, we spent our whole time talking about his hair.
Oh, man.
And I was like, if anybody ever wanted to hurt us, it was him at that point in time because we did not let off the gas.
At that point in
Once it
time?
started.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure he's
once
still
it
plotting your
started,
murder to this day.
It was over. Like,
We should make that movie.
it was over. We just spent the rest of the time just ripping on this dude's hair, and we weren't quiet about it. mind you.
There was 2 things stopping that motherfucker that night: fear and
Spa-
stupidity.
yeah, it wasn't shit, but space and opportunity, and he took none of those.
That's amazing. All right. Well,
That was a good time,
that's
man.
all. That's awesome.
Captain Comb Over.
All right, well, let's try to get back on track a little bit anyway. I mean, I love how we're getting all these stories. We got to do this more often. That's awesome. But we do got some more topics to get through. We watched a trailer for Marvel, Celebrate the Movies. We got our first look at Eternals. We also got the release dates for Antman 3 and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And we got titles for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and The Marvels, which is the Captain Marvel 2 film. Thoughts on this? What did you guys think about this?
Nope, I want to see them. All of them.
Short,
I asked
sweet.
Miranda them too, because
Yeah.
she's been yelling at me too, because we need to watch the last episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, man, get on that, dude. That was great.
I know.
Yeah, that was real good.
Because she almost got a spoiler the other night.
I'm surprised she
"We have
hasn't."
to watch this." She goes, "We have to watch this because I almost spoiled it," and I was like, "All right." So we gotta watch it.
Oh, she knows.
No, she doesn't know.
Oh, she thought she did.
started to
Okay.
started to read it, and then she realized what it was about, and she stopped it. But yeah, I'm gonna show her that so she can see all the movies that are coming up too.
Anybody else got thoughts on this trailer we watched?
It's hit or miss for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm actually more excited about the lineup for the Disney Plus series, like Moon Knight.
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch.
Can't wait for that. That's
I,
gonna be
I, agree, I
dope.
agree with you.
Hawkeye looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
She-Hulk.
Yeah,
I don't really care about Miss Marvel. I don't care about Miss Marvel. I don't care about the Marvels or whatever the fuck they're calling it.
Right.
Don't really care about the Eternals. Am looking forward to Guardians 3, Spider-Man,
yeah.
Shang-Chi, Shang-Chung, Shang-Chung,
Found out
General Tsao,
I
whatever the fuck
found out
it
it's
is.
pronounced Shang-Chi. That the actor
Shang-
himself
Okay,
said it. Yeah.
Shang John Silver's.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to that. But it's hit or miss for me.
Yeah.
I
What
do
about
like the
Doctor
fact that
Strange?
They showed that 4 logo
Well,
at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Fantastic Four logo at the end. That's true. Which has not been dated yet, but they are going to do a Fantastic Four movie. Yes.
There's a lot of people are speculating that the Fantastic Four movie will be the very last movie in Phase 4.
I can see that.
So that's why they did that. But who knows? We'll see.
Oh, you think I'm asking you this, Tony. Because I don't. Well, and Eric too, because I don't know anything if you know the whole thing with the whole Venom thing. But you think we could see Future Foundation? And
I'm not even sure what that is.
Not right away.
no, but you think? I mean, I would love to because of the characters involved in the Future Foundation.
I don't see that. They still got so many things they got to get off the ground before they can even worry.
Well,
about
that to me, it all depends with Sony with the Venom stuff. It's not technically connected to the MCU. I don't know if you're talking about the MCU or just Sony in general doing it.
Well, I mean, I know
Sony
they
wouldn't
talk
be
about
able to
doing
do anything with the Fantastic Four.
No,
because that's
but
strictly Marvel.
Yeah,
I would like to see Venom in a Marvel
cinematic.
Well, Venom has ties to the Fantastic Four.
Yes,
Because
that's what I'm saying.
The origins of the Venom symbiote, the black suit, was when they were on Battle World. I think it's for Secret Wars.
Yep.
Peter Parker's suit was destroyed, so that got attached to him, and then he brought it back, and Reed Richards had to get it off, and this and that. And
yes.
Okay.
So I mean, the Venom suit does have ties to the Fantastic Four, and if
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. I think they're going to be more worried about getting the Fantastic Four established.
But who would be the villain for this one?
Kang the Conqueror is supposed to be the next big bad.
He's in Antman 3.
And he has a history with the Fantastic Four as well. And that could be a thing. If Kang is going to debut, obviously, before the Fantastic Four film comes out, he could be, I mean, it's not going to be Galactus. It's possible.
I think Galactus should be like the last villain they do ever in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and get like a grand finale with Galactus. That's what I would do. But that's probably years down the road. As long as it's not a floating cloud in the sky like it was in that one Fantastic Four movie.
There's no way.
No, they do the humanoid version.
It's gonna be
Dude.
Good, man.
I would love to see the MCU's version
if they did that
of Silver Surfer, like legit,
like literally bring back every Marvel character ever. Yeah,
we watched we did the trailer reaction for A Quiet Place, which has John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, his wife, which it is heavily been rumored that they are tied to the Fantastic Four as Reed Richards and Sue Storm.
That'd be dope.
Would be, yeah.
That's what all the fans wanted. I agree with that 100%.
That would be
and it
dope.
says, if y'all remember too, John Krasinski was one of the runner-ups to play Captain America when they cast Chris Evans. So, so he was up for the role. So it makes sense. He's already got ties with the MCU. But yeah, I think that could be great.
Reed Richards would be much better for him.
I do too.
I was about to say something.
I think it would have worked out for the best if this does happen the way it is.
Side note: did you guys see the thing where? I forget what it was. I think it was the MCU to ask Ryan Reynolds to play nice with Disney. So I guess because they wanted to bring him into the MCU fold somehow.
Well, and that's interesting.
They've already announced that Deadpool 3 is being.
It's coming,
and it's their first. It'll be Disney's first rated R.
Supposedly, unless Blade beats them to it. I don't know which is going to come out first at this point. Blade is going into production next summer, which is one of the next topics we're going to get into a little bit.
But did you see that Hugh Jackman actually said if he can get a good script, he would come back?
I saw that rumor. The website I read it on is totally bogus, but never say never. I mean, I know he has said in the past he would love to have been able to be in an Avengers movie, but
all I care about is I get Deadpool and Wolverine on the screen at one point in time.
That would be cool
together
with Spider-Man.
Just to hear the conversation.
To do it right though, they need to introduce Wolverine not in a series and not in his own solo movie. Wolverine needs to be introduced in the next. Well, you can't necessarily have a Hulk movie because of Universal still owning him.
Yeah,
but
I know, which fucking sucks too.
Wolverine in the comics was introduced as in a Hulk comic. He was fighting the Hulk for the government.
Yep.
Well, you need to understand too, the whole Hulk thing too. Universal owns the distribution rights, but Marvel and Disney do own the Hulk character. But in order to and Disney and Marvel can make a Hulk movie, but they would have to pay Universal to put the movie out. That's the only reason they're not doing it.
I don't see why you wouldn't, because again, we had this discussion when they were talking about it before. And
they did it once.
All this money that you guys are making off of it was the whole Spider-Man thing when we were talking about that, and I was like, but you've made crap ton of money. They showed you that we can make this money. I don't see why you wouldn't let them do that. Like, this is just money in your pocket.
Don't fuck with Disney. Disney is the Vince McMahon of fucking. I'm telling you, he
Pretty
will
much.
buy you. He will
Yeah.
fucking buy Universal
Just to spite you.
and then and so don't.
And then you get nothing. Like, you would, I would rather take my piece of the pie than have nothing. You know what I'm saying?
That's why Marvel's able to do Fantastic Four, because they bought fucking Fox.
That's right.
Yeah.
They couldn't get everything, so they just bought it. Like, fuck it, we'll buy it.
Like, we'll just buy Fox, we'll get our shit back.
Part of me wishes they'd buy Sony so they get all their Spider-Man stuff back too.
I
But
think that's coming.
it very well could.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think that's gonna happen.
That's been rumored for at least a couple of years.
And I'd be down for it.
If Disney wants it bad enough, they'll just wave the biggest fucking chunk of money they've ever seen in front of them.
The only thing,
It won't even hurt Disney one bit.
well, the only thing I think is stopping them is the money they just spent on the Fox deal plus the pandemic, which has kind of hurt them a little. But they still got boatloads of cash.
They still got cash.
Yeah.
dude.
So I mean, but
I
yeah.
mean, tell me,
By
them movies-
by phase
the-
5, they'll fucking have every one of their properties back.
I guarantee.
And
it.
the only one they're
Oh,
missing
yeah.
is Spider-Man and the Hulk distribution. But
Right.
yeah, you're right. So that's very well possible. But let's jump back a little bit to the Guardians of the Galaxy news right quick. I want to touch on this. Dave Bautista come out this week, and being we're wrestling fans, we all know Dave. He's basically said that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will most likely be his last go-around as Drax. Now, he did come out also today and say, now that doesn't mean Drax is going to stop being in movies, but it'll be the last one for him. And if you know the backstory with him, after James Gunn got fired for some tweets he did, he kind of went to bat for the director, and I think he kind of soured on Disney and Marvel a little bit after that fact. But he's coming back for Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and Thor Love and Thunder. But did he just confirm that he's dying in the next Guardians film?
I don't think so much that he's dying. I don't think he confirmed that. But it's just like he said, he's probably done with it. That's a character that can be recast.
Of course.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
A lot of these characters are iconic, and you've had actors doing them for so long. But he's not a Captain America. He's not a Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man.
No.
You can recast Drax.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is interesting to note the other Guardians movies also had a character die. Groot died in the first one. Y'all do in the second. So, I mean, maybe.
But Groot, hold on. But Groot,
Yeah, Groot
dying,
kind of came back. You're right.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even though it's not supposed to be
Yondu,
the same
though,
one, but
that Yondu one.
that
hit
Yondu one was
hard.
handled very well.
That Yondu hit different, bro.
Yeah.
But he also, Big Dave also fucking said that he was the only reason why he didn't do Suicide Squad is because Zack Snyder with Army of the Dead.
Yeah, he's already doing that.
But more than likely, he would have ended up playing fucking King Shark.
Okay.
Oh, really?
I could
now
see that.
played by Sylvester
Sylvester
Stallone.
Stallone, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if Suicide Squad is successful, DC and Warner Brothers are going to say, "Hey, James, we'll come back and do another one." So never say never. Bautista may end up in that sequel. Sticking with the Marvel a little bit more here. Like I said, we mentioned Blade is going to go into production middle of 2022 with a release date probably in late 2023 at best at this point. It's going to star Mahershala Ali, who's an Academy Award-winning actor who was recently seen in Luke Cage as Cottonmouth for the first 6 episodes before that character kind of bit the dust.
And here's the thing. I like that character. I
I did
Yeah.
too. He was one of the best parts of that show.
Time out.
But
Yeah,
he's not
like he
Blade.
was.
He's not Blade. He's a great
No.
actor. And did anyone see the Green Book? I think it was called
No.
with him
No.
and fucking
Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah, Viggo Mortensen. That was an amazing movie, and this guy is an
That
amazing
won some
actor,
awards too. Yeah,
But I
he's
don't find
great.
him as a Blade.
No.
I can't
Fair enough.
see
Fair
him
enough.
as a Blade.
I haven't seen hardly any of his work, so I can't really make an opinion. I think he's
an
got the
amazing
look.
actor.
Yeah.
No, he's an amazing actor. Like, I loved him as Cottonmouth. Like, I thought, because Cottonmouth is such a believable. It's kind of like the same way I felt about Killmonger. It's something that you can relate to. You can see it happening for the time and the setting of it, what it was in, and he put believability into that character.
Right.
But then they killed him off, and I was just like, all right, well, this is fucking shit now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it. Like I said, he's got the look, but I haven't seen enough of him. But a good actor, it's never bad to hire good talent. But the fight stuff, we'll see what he's got. I mean, obviously they can do stunt man and stuff for all that stuff too. But I'm interested to see where they go. But it sounds like it's going to be at least 2 years away. Same with Deadpool. We don't have any news on that, but it's going to, their schedule's so packed for the next 2 years straight. It's going to be at least a while before we see all that, unless they release it on top of everything else.
Intrigued. I am so intrigued, and I want for Deadpool to break the fourth wall and talk about the mouse so bad.
It's coming. And I got a feeling he may become the new Stan Lee cameo in certain spots of these new films too before we get his movie. So
I would die.
That would
If you
be
saw-
like
if you see random spurts of Deadpool like
Yeah.
you did with
I'd
with,
love that.
Stan Lee and the upcoming. Oh my god!
Yeah, that would. Be
I don't
great.
know if I don't know where I saw this, but like it was have Deadpool take over the cameo spots, looking for Stan Lee.
That'd be
Yeah.
yeah. And I've also heard
I'm
like
gonna-
you could put Stan Lee on posters and different
Yeah.
Easter eggs for him in all the movies still too, so he can still have cameos. It just won't be in person, but that would be
I want
cool
him
too.
riding a scooter. At some point, I want Deadpool on a scooter.
Well, we got it Deadpool too, but again,
No.
no.
Little Vespa looking for Stan
Oh,
Lee on
okay.
a scooter,
Hey, Stan, where you at, Stan? yeah, okay, I can see that.
handing out missing person flyers and shit. Like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, speaking of missing persons, Andrew Garfield said that he is not in Spider-Man No Way Home, the guy who played Spider-Man in the Amazing Spider-Man films. The rumor is Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are coming back to play Spider-Man in the multiverse, Spider-Man film coming up here. We know Doc Ock's in it. We know Electro's in it from those old films. Why? I mean, clearly I think he's just being an actor. He's not allowed to say he's in it yet, so he's denying it. But clearly, we know those characters coming back. Andrew Garfield's been spotted on set. He's going to be in this movie.
Well, here's another big hint that he is we haven't heard any, as far as I know, we haven't heard a thing from Tom Holland on it.
Mm-hmm.
No, because the
And-
last time
They
told
yeah.
Tom
Why
Holland
that
anything,
is.
It's not as
last
bad.
time-
It's not as bad as Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. Did you hear what he did before
Yeah.
Infinity War?
Oh
They
my
all
God,
die
they
in this
fucking
movie.
Recorded that
And
shit.
Don Cheadle goes, dude.
Tom Holland almost in an interview spoiled,
Yeah.
and like they had to be like, "Yo, fam."
Yeah,
this is the only-
it got to the point where they didn't even give him fucking scripts.
Until he was at the shoot. Like,
Yeah.
you can't.
There's so much that's going on with this Spider-Man movie, and that's
Yeah.
going to be happening. Ned Leeds is supposed to be taking a turn, become the Hobgoblin.
Oh, dude.
I've
because
heard
he
that too.
actually,
Dude.
That character was not the original Hobgoblin, but he was an iteration of that. You have so many characters coming back from Maguire's Spider-Man universe, and there's just no way they're not going to.
Yeah.
And not only that, Charlie Cox has been
Rumored.
He's been rumored to be on set too, which I said from the beginning when I knew he was a fugitive that they were going to need a lawyer.
A lawyer.
And
Yeah.
Matt
Yep.
Murdock, Daredevil.
She-Hulk could be in this too.
Yeah, that's you know what? I didn't even think about that.
Oh,
She could be in
bruh.
She's a lawyer.
with
Yeah.
with Cox already being seen on set. I don't know, man. I'm hyped.
It's coming.
It
He
is
just,
about to
him.
be.
Nobody can talk right now until they announce it officially, and then everybody's going to get all the news about it. It's just one of those things that actors do. Last bit of Marvel thing. Apparently, they have now announced that the Loki series that's debuting on June 9th now will be released every Wednesday, not Fridays. So that's cool. We get a couple days early, and I think
Midweek refresher.
what's that?
Little midweek refresher.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the reason for that is because the Star Wars The Bad Batch animated show is on Fridays now, and I don't think they want to double dip on Fridays, so I can understand that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, which I gotta watch that too.
Yeah, I was gonna
haven't
say,
started
speaking-
watching
that's
it.
good.
I was going to lead
Bad
into
Batch
that.
is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's only 2 episodes, but it's about 140, an hour and 40 minutes
Count
worth
10
of stuff.
squares and you'll get to YouTube.
So, but yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't care
Yeah,
for
that first episode was what, like 75 minutes.
Yeah, it was it was almost like a mini movie, so that's a good setup.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good setup for the series. I'm interested to see where they go with the young Omega character. But again, I know the animated stuff for Star Wars is not always everybody's cup of tea, if you even like Star Wars to begin with. But it's some of the best Star Wars material that they've done, the animated stuff.
Dave Filoni knows how to fucking do Star Wars.
Right. And even if
Put
you're not a
that
fan of the
man-
films, yeah.
Fuck Kathleen Kennedy. Put Dave Filoni in charge of the fucking studio.
Well, and I understand
right.
he's
Oh.
still trying to learn some stuff, but
Is it worth watching then?
so far, yes.
Yes.
All right, I'll have to watch.
We'll see where they go. But again, Dave, like you said with Dave Filoni, he's one of the main reasons too with Jon Favreau why the Mandalorian is so successful as well with this story.
Mandalorian,
Yeah.
the
Clone Wars,
Star
Rebels,
Wars
all of it.
Rebels, Clone Wars.
Yeah. There was even a little
That
Star Wars Rebels
that man
reference
knows
in
how
this.
to do. That man knows how to do fucking Star Wars.
Agreed.
Let him fucking run it.
Him and Favreau both
Yes,
know how to
man.
run that franchise.
Exactly.
Tell Jaden so Jaden can watch it because I know he'll want to.
Yeah, it's great, but it's great for adults too. I mean, I know
Oh, yeah.
there's a stigma that
I watched
animation
it
is for
today.
kids. Animation is not always for kids. I mean, look at South Park. I mean, it's not raunchy like South Park, but it has good
Fuck that.
storytelling in it.
I've watched Rebels through
Mhm.
twice.
I mean, I was a little disappointed.
Rebels is good.
Yeah, Rebels is great. Clone Wars. The Resistance wasn't that great. It was very slapsticky.
I haven't touched that one just because I don't like the animations.
Yeah, it's not as good as the other two, but Bad Batch seems to be off on the right foot with the Clone Wars animation style and everything.
I'll check it out.
Yeah,
check it out.
definitely do that. I was a little disappointed that Star Wars Day this week with May the 4th that literally had no news other than the new series. But
plus for the Bad Batch, they have the Clone Wars narrator.
yeah,
At least in the
or at
first
least in the
episode
first
they
to kind
did.
of lead in from the Clone Wars. Yeah, and he had like a stroke recently, so I was glad to hear his voice. So that's good.
Yeah.
Good to see him back. Moving on to DC real quick. Couple of stories. Well, the big story obviously is DC and Warner Brothers is going to be doing a Black Superman film. Not Val Zod, not that Ellis character who was also a Black Superman, who I believe
Calvin Ellis.
Calvin Ellis. There's not, but apparently it's going to be a Clark Kent Kal-El iteration with a black character or a black actor. But it will be like a 20th century period piece. So, but the key here is it's not going to be a part of the Justice League, the DCEU timeline with Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Flash, none of that stuff. It's kind of going to be like the Joker and the Dark Knight and the new Batman film. It's going to be set apart. In that case, it doesn't bother me because it still gives us hope that Henry Cavill could still be Superman in the main timeline.
No, it bugs the ever-living fuck out of me on that.
Okay.
Here's the thing, though.
You have Calvin Ellis. His Kryptonian name is essentially the same as Clark Kent's without the fucking hyphen.
Right.
Same backstory, just names are changed. That's it. But no, they have to take a established character that has been around since 1938 and just change the race.
They race bending it, yeah.
Fucking hate it. It drives me up the wall. They did it with Johnny Storm and Fan Stick, and that drove me up a wall. I'm tired of seeing it.
Now their argument
Here's
is
the thing. Let me play
go
devil's advocate. With you.
okay.
How come nobody else was outraged when they've taken fucking characters of a different race
Right.
and used white actors for them?
Not the Sorcerer Supreme and Doctor Strange. That's one example. But there was Marvel's
Hell,
done it.
I wasn't
Iron
happy
Fist.
about that. Iron Fist wasn't happy.
Yeah, there's that too.
I'm not happy when they changed the race of established characters.
Now to that argument there,
They did the same thing with Nick Fury.
yeah, that worked. Yeah, Nick Fury was fine. But also like the
Well,
argument.
That's Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
I'll be a
Well, but
hypocrite
that
on that.
should-
I'll be a hip.
Yeah,
I,
it's the same story,
I will be
though.
a hypocrite on that. That one gets a pass because it's fucking Samuel L. Jackson.
That's right, mother effer. But
I'll take the hypocrite label on that.
You have characters you could have done that with. It didn't have to be Superman.
agreed. Yeah, and that's the thing. You've got other Black Supermen in the comics. You don't have to do
Well,
it.
Calvin Ellis is Superman on Earth. I think it was Earth 23 is what I just found.
Yeah,
when
that's
I
what I'm
looked
saying.
it
So
up.
you didn't have to do that.
And if it's set
Exactly.
apart anyway, why not just take that story and adapt it?
People should
That's
be
what I mean. So,
outraged
like-
because they wouldn't use that character.
That's what I'm
the
saying. Like that's what you should be mad about. Not that it's Superman.
It's
You
almost
didn't
like
have
saying,
to.
"What?
Yeah.
That character's not good enough for you, so we're gonna go ahead and make it." And this is honestly because Warner Brothers screwed the pooch with Ray Fisher. That whole big thing with him and the race relations and everything that was going on with the between him and Josh Whedon. This is Warner Brothers' lousy attempt at we're going to give a shitty apology and make one of our flagship characters, and we're going to turn them black for you.
Shouldn't have did that.
Even though
If you
they
already
have
have a
the-
character that's established, you could have done that. That would have made more fucking sense.
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? This way you can introduce this Superman, this Central Superman to the world. But no, now you just take Superman and you just turn him black. Like that
You could
makes
have had an
no sense.
option, just like they're doing
Yeah.
with Batman.
Yeah, why
They
not?
had this Batman, Robert Pattinson's Batman, is Batman, but it's in a different timeline.
Well, that's what they're
Exactly.
doing with the Superman movie,
This
apparently.
could have been,
But you're not taking a character that's already, you're just using Clark Kent, and he's
that's
black
what I'm
now.
saying. They could have done this they could have used either Val Zod,
Val Zod,
his
yeah.
name is, or the other, and they could have made it an offshoot, and
But-
another
Yeah.
dimension super. They could have done so many things, but they just went through now. And
Now,
like I said,
To that point, though, the Batman movie they're doing, it is still Bruce Wayne. Now, granted, they're not
you're
changing
right,
the
it is
race.
Bruce Wayne, but it's a totally different universe.
Agreed.
So
And this
they-
would be a totally different universe with a Clark Kent that's just black. So to me, I really don't have a big issue with it, but I understand your points. Absolutely.
But
That's
you-
the whole argument.
But I'm saying, but you have
Yeah, I agree.
character
Yeah.
that you could have used instead of Clark Kent.
Right.
This is this is your way to introduce your audience to another version of the hero that you all know and love, but a new, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, agreed.
Like
I agree with
we
you.
already
It's
have.
established character in the comics.
Yes.
Been out long enough.
Mhm.
So, spoiler alert: there was a black Captain America, and
Yeah.
you are introduced to him in
You
Falcon
are.
and Winter Soldier.
Agreed.
Yes, you
So
are.
Marvel again shows how they can do something right and superior to DC. Fucking DC did this as some horrible PC cleanup for
Yeah.
the right.
Well, not
And
only
from
that,
From what I'm hearing is that they're also wanting to hire a black director.
director. Yeah.
This essentially is going to be what they're wanting it to be, is their Black Panther.
Yeah, I can see that.
Again, then you could have taken a character already established as that black superhero and then gone with that.
Now,
route. Just
yeah.
like, or
Calvin
you could have done
Ellis-
it. Or you could have done this with Green Lantern. You could have used that movie.
That's coming.
John Stewart.
John
and
Stewart's
then
most likely
John
coming.
Stu-
Yeah.
But done it John Stewart instead. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
Yeah, but
give
instead of using John Stewart or Hal Jordan, they're using the most fucking useless Green Lantern, fucking
In the TV show, Guy Gardner.
Guy- yeah.
Gardner.
But
Jesus Christ.
that's going to be in the HBO Max TV show. They are also doing a movie where I believe they're saving Hal and John Stewart for, and it's supposed to maybe tie in with this show. So in that regard, you take the lesser known Green Lanterns, put them in the TV show, and then they spin off with the movie that has the big characters. So in that regard, I get that move if that's what they're doing.
But this
If that's what they
this
do,
could have
that's
been your
fine.
power move though.
No,
This
great.
could have been that move instead of what you're doing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
DC wouldn't know what to do with a comic property if it was fucking handed to him by
Script and
Stan
all.
Lee himself.
Right. And I understand the criticisms. They've definitely not shown that they could do good work with it yet. Like I said, I'm always the eternal optimist. If you haven't noticed, especially when it comes to like pro wrestling, DC is another thing too. I do have hope, but you're right. They've not
coming
done.
from someone who loves DC.
Agreed.
Like,
yeah, we
do.
all love DC. I
Like
think.
that's why
I
it's
hate
so.
DC.
Oh,
Deal with
okay.
that.
Don't say we all do.
My bad.
It's infuriating to me because you would do this when you have the opportunity to introduce this character who's already established, who's
Agreed.
already known, and you could have used him.
Well, it's like
Because a lot of people's like,
and-
we don't have the representation in superheroes.
As our black
Wrong.
Yes, you do.
yeah, they got Blue Beetle, who's Latino.
You should actually go ahead and speak on this, man. I mean, go for
Who, Breda?
That shit makes
Right?
me
You
so
know,
mad. Like I hate that. I hate this whole we have to now pander to this audience shit. Like that shit pisses me off because you don't do it the right way. You just put a band-aid over the situation and go, here you go. Now we're good now. Like, no. If given the opportunity to do something right, do it right. Don't half-ass it. And that's what this is. This is a half-ass attempt to make up for previous discretions. That's all it is.
And not only that, the article itself said in big letters, Black Superman movie. It's like, okay, it doesn't, I mean, just do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why does that have to be your narrative?
Because they will
Why
they
is
have to
that
appear diverse, I suppose.
Your catching title. Like
Yeah.
that is again,
Yeah.
you're pandering at this fucking point. You're not
It's
doing anything.
Tokenism.
Yeah, and that's exactly what this Superman will be. Because look, if this movie's shit, all you're gonna remember is the Black Superman was trash.
Yeah, and that's not going to be fair either. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I understand.
Now, I've heard people kind of to keep on the comics that Miles Morales is a token character for Spider-Man.
But they didn't
No,
make it Peter Parker.
Miles Morales is
No.
actually a
Well, exactly. That's what
well-established fucking character.
I haven't
in-
it's a guy on YouTube, but
no.
he's like, oh, Miles is a token character. It's like, no, he's
No,
not.
he isn't.
It's in name only as he's Spider-Man. He's got his own power set.
Yeah. His personality is
Vastly,
drastically
it's-
different from
it-
Peter Parker's personality.
His
Right.
power set alone is vastly different than Peter.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
not
it's like Blue Beetle. He's Latino. They have,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like you said, John Stewart, who's already black. They have other characters they could use, but they're even
Static Shock.
they're even bringing in Supergirl
Yeah.
into the Flash movie, who's also been cast as a Latino actress.
Here's the thing too.
I believe it's
could've-
Latino.
I would have loved to see a Static Shock movie. You could
Yeah.
have done that.
Well, they're
instead.
doing that. They're doing an HBO Max series, movie, something. They are doing Static Shock. I believe Michael B.
whole
Jordan
point
is behind it.
It's bullshit because I'm tired of whitewashing, blackwashing, gray washing, Asian washing.
Yeah.
If a
It shouldn't
fucking
matter.
character is a certain race,
Leave it at that.
be.
Yeah.
Now the
Latino,
argument with
Latino
Superman is he's not white. He's an alien. He could be anything. But he
Exactly.
just
Well, he
appears
could be,
black.
but he's drawn white.
Agreed.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah.
I mean, okay, if someone would fucking go and make Black Panther, but they went and got
That changes the character, though. The characters
got fucking Jim Carrey to beat T'Challa.
Well,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
But again, that changes the core element of the character itself. I don't know if doing that with Kal-El does. You see the difference?
What do you mean?
Because Black Panther is essential to the black culture and Wakanda, correct? You know, I mean, Kal-El could be anything because he's not really essential to white culture.
He's essential. I mean, without sounding, I don't want to sound fucking racist, but he's white. He is a white beacon. I mean, he was drawn white. He has white flesh tone. He's white.
Yes.
I mean,
he was.
It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the thing is, you already have established that there are these other versions of Superman out there by different names, different characters.
I just don't know why they
who
just
have
didn't
their
take the
own
easier
personality.
route. Yeah.
You could have done that again to offer your audience something new.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's
and
always
still got across the same situation. You got your same goal.
Now, all this could be moot because there's always a possibility that the Hollywood Reporter could have gotten that detail wrong, and maybe they are actually doing Val Zod or Calvin Ellis. Maybe, but they're claiming. Yeah,
I doubt it.
We all know the truth here.
Now, watch if they change it, it'll be because of this reaction.
That they can clean up that whole. I'm telling
It's
you.
the same thing that happened with Domino too, when there were.
Or
Not
But
everybody
see,
was mad about.
Domino's at one of those things that like I've never. She
He was
looks
just
like,
this pasty white thing that you didn't know what she was.
right. So I get that is what it is.
Yeah,
So
and I thought the chick who played Domino was dope. So
yeah, and it worked out. And again, and like we said with Nick Fury, I don't recall anybody
See,
being that
Nick
mad.
has been changed a couple of times,
Right.
even in the comics.
but see,
But they changed him to match Sam Jackson.
With Miles Morales and Nick Fury, those were both ultimate versions when the Ultimate Marvel timeline came out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they like that Nick Fury was actually drawn and inspired by Sam Jackson. The artist wanted to use him. And Miles Morales didn't come out until Spider-Man, the ultimate Spider-Man, Peter Parker, died. So, I mean...
Yeah. I mean, I get it.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I see both sides of the argument to a degree, but you guys make very good points, and this is why I wanted to bring it up because I wanted to get your guys' opinions. And I mean, it's just a hard thing to deal with, unfortunately, in today's society. We had a couple other little movie news things here, but I don't think anybody really cares about the Paw Patrol movie in this panel anyway. So
My children probably do.
You
Well,
think
my
so?
daughter does for damn sure.
apparently, I didn't know there was a movie coming. It comes out in August.
Yeah,
So, but anyway,
probably watch.
Well, anyway, we'll move on a little bit here to probably the last segment on the show. I mean, we got a few things to talk about in this segment, but it is the ever controversial pro wrestling segment. But we're going now. Again, there's a few other things. There's more than just the shows that we're going to talk about. But again, we'll do them in rapid fire, so we'll go through them quicker. But one of the things, again, since we all are relatively new to the YouTube channel and everybody doesn't quite know us yet, our audience is new and everything. For the audience we have, we're still working on growing it. But I thought it'd be kind of cool to kind of maybe go around the panel, kind of like we did with football, and say, when and how did you become a fan of wrestling?
I can tell you exactly when, but I do remember one of the first shows I watched. Oh crap! It was after King of the Ring, the Stone Cold thing at King of the Ring.
Wow,
I watched that, and then I think I stopped for a while too.
but that was your first? Like,
Was it?
'cause that was 96. That's
Yeah.
really...
No. WCW was the first one I watched because I remember watching WCW before Raw. And fuck, what the fuck was that?
Some early
We've
90s, most likely.
We've established Brandon's old and has a bad memory.
He been hit the head too many
Yeah.
times, too.
But I know I stopped watching wrestling after they bought WCW. Like I stopped watching it. And then I think one day it was a Saturday. I was sitting at the house flipping through the channel and I turned on TNA for the first time. And this is when TNA still had the 6-sided ring.
Mm-hmm.
And it was AJ and Chris Sabin. And I watched that match, and then I was like, it was dope. And then that's what got me back into watching wrestling to where I ended up watching more Monday night shit like that. But yeah, I remember watching the whole Monday Night Wars thing.
Right.
I stopped after they bought WCW.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Well, and it did go a little bit downhill after that. No question about that. I was just kind of surprised it wasn't like a little farther back, but okay.
It probably was, but I can't remember that.
Okay. Damon?
I had a lot of head injuries, man.
Oh, I probably started watching around probably the Ruthless Aggression era.
Yeah, you're a little younger than all of us, so I can see that. That was about early 2000s.
Yeah,
So we're
I remember telling people to suck it in school, and I had an Austin 316 shirt. It's the one that had the skull with the snake on it, going through the skull.
Go with the skull in the front. Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I was in second grade, I had a
Hold up.
NWO backpack.
Real talk, Miranda had a bird named Hulk Hogan.
No, I thought it was.
Bird was racist as shit.
What'd you say, Tony?
I just thought it had a different name. I thought it was like Hork Hogan or something.
Oh, Hork Hogan.
He said Hulk Hogan.
But
hopefully, he didn't teach it to say racist things. That's for sure.
I actually had a T-shirt made in high school because my nickname was Blue. Because I always had something blue on.
Yep.
So it said
I
Blue
remember that.
316, and on the back it says I just stole your Twinkie because I was fat.
I like that. That's cool.
That's
But
dope.
I think my first memory was going to the very first Survivor Series in Richfield, Ohio, Richfield Coliseum. It's one of my very first memories. So yeah, that goes back to the 80s.
Okay. I can tell you the exact match. 1992 Royal Rumble, where Ric Flair won the Undisputed Championship at drawing number 3 and went the distance.
With a tear in my
With a tear in my eye. Yeah, that one.
I remember one of the first times I watched wrestling with my mom, because I remember she saw Jimmy Snuka, and she said, "I've seen him wrestle before." And she's talking about the time is it Madison Square Garden where he dove off the cage?
I
And
believe
so.
On Don
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dick
She
Foley
watched
was
it.
in the audience, hitchhiked from Long Island to go see.
Yeah, I remember that.
She watched it with her dad, and I remember her telling me that story. Damn. Yeah, that's the first time I watched wrestling with my mother is when she told me that story.
Well, I remember when I got the 92 Royal Rumble on VHS, which for kids, that's a little cassette tape about yay big. You had to stick in a recorder to rewind, and it had actual tape on it or film in the inside. And if you bent it up, which I did, I wore that tape out. I watched that thing. And one of the best parts about that memory to me is that was also the same year of WrestleMania 8 in Indianapolis, and my family got us all tickets to go see that show. So it was my first live event too, seeing Ric Flair defend the title against Randy Savage, which is his second world title, and Hogan obviously in the end with Sid Vicious, or Sid Justice, I believe was the name at the time, with Ultimate Warrior's return. So again, things I'll never forget, but that's where I started, and I haven't turned back since, even though there's been times that you kind of wanted to quit. That's for sure.
It's a little rough.
Yeah, I know when I started watching, Eddie was big. Cena was just getting started.
Yeah.
Were you there for was it when they're called the Rascals? It was
The Radicals.
The Radicals with
That's what it
Benoit
was.
and Eddie, and yeah.
Eddie and
That was
Perry
a little
Saturn.
bit.
Perry
That was a
Saturn.
little bit before my time when I started watching.
Dude, Perry Saturn's underrated.
Those years with the ruthless aggression and Cena and Kurt and all that stuff, those Smackdowns with JBL, those were some of the best shows looking back on it now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like I don't even really
hold on.
like I don't remember watching any Raws, but Smackdowns I remember because of that.
So, what was your favorite era of wrestling then? I mean, the Attitude Era.
yeah, most people would say that. But to me, to be honest, though, you go back on the WWE Network, now on Peacock or whatever, and you watch some of the stuff from any time in wrestling for that matter. But the Attitude Era, we all remember it fondly for like The Rock, Austin, Hogan. Not Hogan, yeah. Rock, Austin, Triple H, Taker. But you go back and watch it, there's a lot of garbage on those shows too. I mean, wrestling's really not changed that much from those years, and those are considered their best years. But
see, that's the thing. Wait, when we were teenagers, though, that garbage was legit because you saw half-naked women.
Yeah, but we're also getting hands being birthed by Mae Young. We're getting the
yeah, you got Vince
the headbangers, the oddities. Some of this stuff is just like
Vince McMahon pissing himself on TV.
Yeah, but the highs outweigh the lows.
Everything from the late 70s up into 92, 93. I even go maybe 94. That was my time.
I agree. I would say either the 80s, like WrestleMania 3 to 9, somewhere in there. Then it kind of died off a little bit when WCW caught fire. But then again, of course, the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression. I mean, they all had their highs.
Legitimately, I think I watched WCW Nitro before I seen a Raw. Like that's where my wrestling started.
Yeah,
It was on TNT, and you had to get cable. You had to have USA.
one of the things I really regret about the Attitude Era is I really did not watch a lot of Nitro. I tried, but by being in school and stuff too, I tried to record it after Raw, and then I didn't always get a chance to watch. I mean, I could have watched the next day, but life and things like that happened. So I that's why I kind of feel like I want to see like the AEW and the NXT stuff now, because I feel like I didn't get that back in the day.
Yeah.
But
Man, and then too, like I remember ECW was a thing, but all they did was pay-per-views, and we couldn't. My mom was never gonna let me watch an ECW pay-per-view. So I remember one time, me and TJ went to his grandpa's house, and we talked his grandpa into letting us buying a ECW pay-per-view for it. And his grandpa went to bed, and me and TJ were sitting in the living room watching this ECW show. And I was like, yo, this is wrestling. Most violent, foul-mouthed thing I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, I'm here for it.
Well, and speaking of memories, one of my fondest memories, which again, kids don't have now, was going to the movie rental store, like Blockbuster or something like that, and just going down the wrestling aisle and picking out 2 or 3 tapes to watch for the week.
So you had that. In the 7th grade, I had his social studies teacher named Mr. Yannon. He was a huge wrestling fan. And when he found out that a lot of us kids were wrestling fans there too, he would bring in he had library tape VHSs of old wrestling shit. And like he would if we did good in class, he would legit let us go into the projector room and watch these tapes, and then if we didn't finish it, or whatever, he'd let us take them home. We'd bring them back or whatever.
Cool.
And he'd just give us a new one every other fucking week, dude. And some of the coolest shit though was on the last day of school. That's all we did. We just hung out in his room and watched these old wrestling videos.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I know. One of my earliest memories of wrestling, I was again in 2nd grade with my NWO backpack.
Nice.
Hey, Wolfpack or original?
I think I had original. My brother had the Wolfpack Red and Black.
I was more of a Wolfpack fan.
But the earliest, I forgot what time it was, because it was like back in, I was like I said, 2nd grade, and I'm gonna describe the match. It isn't gonna help, but it was a cage match with Flair and a bunch of other guys beating the shit out of Flair, and Flair was bleeding.
Imagine that.
Flair bleeding.
Yeah.
Like I said,
That narrows it
my
down.
description of it isn't gonna help. But
Well, that kind of leads into my next little topic. We are going to discuss a little bit about Blood and Guts. Again, 5-minute limit for those shows. But before we get into those, what's our favorite memories of war games from the past?
Like, what do you mean? Old?
Well,
war
just
games?
just any war games that was before this week, obviously. Like, what were your favorite ones? Which ones stand out to
Or
you?
did you ever watch a War Games?
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually like a WCW war game.
Well, NXT did them.
so we're talking WCW. I haven't seen a lick of them, but the NXT one, it was
for
the
me-
one Ricochet. I think it was the first one.
Yeah, the first war games was fucking insane.
Is that the one where Ricochet jumped from the top of the cage and did like some flip?
I guess they didn't have a roof on that time. I know the NXT sometimes don't or never have. I don't recall.
I don't think they have ever had a roof.
They haven't had a roof.
I mean, obviously.
I wanna say
Oh, go ahead.
it was I can't remember WCW war games. I'm being completely honest with you. I know there were. I just can't remember.
I know what you're
Probably
saying.
won't, because they didn't have a War Games. And I mean, when was the last WCW War Games?
It was a long while ago.
96, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you, dude. But I do know NXT's first war games was dope.
Did you mean to tell me they didn't have any with the NWO versus WCW at all?
No,
They
because everybody
might
in
have, but I mean,
WCW
still,
was
that
part of
was what-
NWO.
Yeah.
That was 96, 97 when they came in.
They might have had one. Yeah. It's true. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the old stuff, I mean, I have vague memories of like Dusty
Yeah,
and
like-
Ric Flair, and some of those back in the old WCW or whatever you might call it. Maybe even NWA. I don't know if it was NWA or not, but
It was NWA.
Was it? Okay.
And then when Crockett bought spot in NWA and WCW, but yeah, it started as the NWA. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, my most recent memories obviously are the NXT ones, and they've been really good too. I know some fans have kind of criticized it, but because like they didn't get all bloody or whatever. But again, that's not the most important thing to me when it comes to that match. It's just the way you do the match. But yeah, I mean those were great too.
So 2017 was seemingly the first War Games match in nearly 20 years. The teams were Undisputed Era versus Sanity.
Sounds right.
Roderick Strong teaming up with the Authors of Pain.
Okay. Yeah, I remember Undisputed Era was probably at a few, if I remember correctly.
And then that one, I think, was when Strong joined.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
in 2019, it looks like there's one.
What about you, Tony? Did you say one that you were fond of?
What's up, man?
Did you say War Games that you were fond of, or we didn't skip you? Did we?
I mean, I it's hard for me to remember the War Game stuff.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
It was so long ago.
Yeah.
But it's a great concept. I like the idea of it. The two rings, the big cage. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. One question before we go anywhere.
Sure.
If there was a pay-per-view that you want to see come back, what would that be? For me,
Halloween Havoc.
Well, NXT still does them.
King of the Ring.
King of the Ring would be a good, as long as you make the winner someone you're going to push, which they, I mean, instead don't give them the dumb King gimmick every time.
No, but King of the Ring. I would love to see King of the Ring come back.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Again, it just depends on how you book it for me. A lot of the gimmick pay-per-views I really don't want to see, just because I don't think you should build the matches around the gimmick, build it around the feud if it requires the gimmick.
But here's the thing, though, like, you know, with King of the Ring, there was a reason why you had that whole thing,
right?
You know what I mean? I don't know why they got away from shit like that. You know, just like with Money in the Bank, Money in the Bank has become this thing. You hold on to the damn thing as long as you can, and then.
Now, I don't think I'd like this now, but I remember when they first introduced the concept, I thought Buried Alive was cool. But now, maybe not. But at the time, it was a new concept, something fresh, you know, so I was kind of cool with it. Elimination Chamber was another one when they first did it. But back then, they didn't have the padding. It was all metal, and, I mean, at least it wasn't, you know.
You can't keep doing that.
No, I understand.
It was all metal up until 2017.
Yeah.
You can't keep doing that.
And that'll kind of tie in a little bit to the ending of Blood and Guts. I understand you want to be safe, but it does take a little bit of the realism out of it. I understand the argument, but we'll get into Blood and Guts here in a few. But before we do that, I did want to have your thoughts on Dark Side of the Ring a little bit. Start this week with Brian Pillman. Also, I saw part one. It was cool from what I could tell.
I haven't watched it.
Definitely, you know, I do like how he took the idea of the loose cannon, and basically you couldn't tell whether he was being legit or it was all character. In a world where kayfabe was dying, you know, he was able to get the crowd to believe him, and even some promoters to believe him, according to the documentary, about whether or not he was, you know, it was all an act or not. So in that regard, pretty ingenious, I think. But again, they you know, he obviously had his demons as well, clearly. Otherwise, he wouldn't be on Dark Side of the Ring. But I do want to see part two. I haven't got around to checking it out yet. Anybody else get a chance to watch it?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we'll try to catch those probably, and they're on every week now going forward. But I also did want to get your opinions on the A&E bios for Stone Cold Steve Austin, Roddy Piper, and the Macho Man Randy Savage have been released so far.
I didn't see those yet.
I know Tony have.
Busy this week.
Yeah.
Stone Cold's was really good. Roddy Piper's hit me really hard, especially towards the end. And I haven't watched Savages yet, but I heard it was really not that good. Like,
yeah.
It was just all over the place. I mean, because each one is, I guess, directed by a different person. So it's they're not the same. The Roddy Piper one, though, man, like, you just see how much, like, shit he went through in his life. And there was two things that stood out the most to me. One, I totally looked past how great of a heel he was. Mm-hmm. He probably was the best heel that we've ever had in wrestling. They said he was stabbed 3 times in his entire career, and that after the last one, which I'll tell you the quick story on, here in a second. He ended up having Kevlar put into his leather jackets that he wore to the ring. So I forget, I think it was like early to mid 80s, he was having a match with Sergeant Slaughter, and he was going through the crowd. And someone started jaw jacking with him, and he was doing his thing as a heel, and they got into it. So the cops pulled him apart, and Sergeant Slaughter, being the good guy, he got into it with them somehow, whatnot, more to get Roddy out of the way and make him safe, but make it still look like he's helping the fan, yada yada yada. So they get backstage, and the cops have the guy that he was going back and forth with, and they go, Mr. Piper, we have the guy, you're very lucky. He had this huge Bowie knife, and they pull it out. And Roddy goes, can I have just a minute with that person? And they're like, why do you want to have a minute with that person? And Roddy takes his hand off his chest, and blood starts squirting the police officer in the face. Every time his heart pumps, it's squirting blood. The guy actually ended up stabbing him, and they had to take him to the hospital. And the doctor told him, if it would have been an inch either way, you'd be dead. Mm-hmm. But that's just how much they hated Roddy. So the last thing,
crazy.
It is, dude. It's nuts. But like the last thing, like his family was talking about how bad he was getting towards the end. Roddy was one of those people that just always thought on his feet and could talk and this and that. He died, I think it was July 31st, something like that, 2015. And he appeared on an ESPN sports show. It was like July 15th, something like that, a couple days before he actually died. And when you watch the interview, because they show this segment on there, he's just stumbling. He can't come up with anything. He's mumbling his words. He was just so bad. And the next day, his wife and him, they're like, we're going to go to the doctor the next day and figure it out. And he ended up dying in bed that night. Man. But the big thing about that is I guess Roddy was getting into, more religion and whatnot towards the end of his life. And you know how we all get those text messages sometimes that was like sent in the morning, but you don't get it till like later on that night or even the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Hulk found out. Hulk Hogan, when he found out that Roddy died, he said it hit him really hard. And I guess he had a voicemail on his phone, but like his phone never rang and this and that. And I think he got it. I think he said it was like a day or two after Roddy died. And like Hulk said what the message was, but they actually played it on there so that you could see it was no bullshit. It was Roddy. And he said, hey, brother, just thinking of you. I'm walking with God today. We're in the light that's bright and shiny, praying for you, and I love you. And it's like, it's just so,
Wow.
Dude, that's
crazy. He knew.
Like, it's like he was talking from heaven. It's so weird, man, because it's a trip. You got to watch that Roddy one. If you don't watch any of them, you got to watch that one.
Okay. I do know that there were some notes that were going around. And one of the things with me, and I'm sure these are all good watches, but I do get a little skeptical, especially sometimes. I mean, because if you've watched any WWE documentary, especially on their network, now I know WWE had a hand in these, but sometimes it feels like WWE has a little revisionist history about certain things. And now documentaries in general, it all depends on what you're trying to tell. Sometimes they don't get every detail right, and obviously it sounds like the Randy Savage one. Again, I've not seen it, but it sounds like they took certain things. It got real negative in a lot of instances. Now, granted, there's a lot of things Randy Savage did in his life that was not considered right, but at the same time, I heard that apparently WWE completely neglected to even mention a whole lot of his in-ring accomplishments, such as WrestleMania 4, WrestleMania 7, the Mega Powers, WrestleMania 5, WrestleMania 8, a lot of his title wins and stuff. And they focused a lot more about how he treated Elizabeth. It felt more like a Dark Side of the Ring episode from what I gather. And I think even McMahon even said in there that he felt betrayed when Savage went to WCW. But it was kind of like, because Vince said the same thing in the Monday Night War documentary about Hogan, Nash, and Hall even. But in all those cases, I believe their contract ran out and Vince never renewed it, so they went and found work. But Vince, made it seem like they betrayed him. And
it was. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Eric.
Oh no, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it was actually with Savage. Everyone says that the big rumor was that Savage slept with Stephanie when she was fairly young and this and that, and that's why Vince always held a grudge and hated him.
Really?
But it was actually over the Slim Jim endorsement. I guess Vince felt that Slim Jim endorsement was supposed to be theirs, WWE's and whatnot. But I guess when they weren't going to re-sign Savage, or they just really didn't do anything with other than commentary, like Savage got that. Originally, that was supposed to be for Bam Bam Bigelow, but Savage took that with him to WCW. I think he was getting, it was like $750,000 a year. I was hearing that he was making off that endorsement, and Vince took that personally because he felt that was WWE money, that was his money, and that's what drove the big wedge between them. And you're right. That's, I guess, the second hour of that A&E documentary was a lot on just Elizabeth herself. Not only, like you said, the way he treated her, but her time with Lex and the drug abuse that killed her and this and that. And then, like, the first hour, I guess, they focused on a lot of Randy's early years, but, like, fucking just crazy and out there he was. And, like, it didn't really put him in a good light. And even, like, some of the dates, and it just wasn't right.
Yeah, they were out of order, I believe is what I heard.
So from what I haven't watched it yet, but from what I hear, it is not their best one.
Right, and it kind of paints WWE in a better light, which is another thing. I'd be remiss if I don't bring up the thing about, now, again, I haven't seen Roddy Piper's, and I'm sure for the most part it's good, but there's a spot in this one apparently where Vince McMahon's joking like he's on a phone call with Roddy Piper, and he's like,
I was just going to tell you that.
Yeah.
I know it verbatim.
Okay, go ahead then.
Vince is sitting there. The first shot is Vince sitting there like they're doing makeup on him, and he picks his phone up and he goes, "Roddy, hey, how you doing, pal? Oh, it's hot down there, huh? You're saving a seat for me? Not anytime soon, pal." And he hangs up. And he goes, "Oh, Roddy's not in hell. He's really in heaven." But you know what? The thing though too is once you watch that documentary and you see the way Roddy is and whatnot, I think he would have actually got a kick out of it. I think.
Oh, good point.
But I mean, it's still though. I mean, for the person, it's still kind of shitty. I mean, for Vince to do. But I honestly think Roddy would have been cool with it.
Yeah, and that's a very good point.
Joke Roddy would have made himself about somebody else, or I really do.
Mm-hmm. Okay, in that context, I guess it makes a little more sense.
But it was still. I mean, I don't think I would have done it, even as mouthy and as crazy as I am. I don't think.
Now, I did watch the Stone Cold Steve Austin one, though, and after this one, I guess we can move on to the actual shows here. But I did want to mention something I caught in the Stone Cold. And again, I'm not trying to paint Vince or WWE in a bad light, but it's just certain things that kind of pop out to me that I feel like, WWE kind of puts a little spin on it, you know what I'm saying? And obviously everybody remembers when Stone Cold did not want a job to Brock Lesnar and took his ball and went home, so to speak, as The Rock put it in one of his promos. He talks about in this documentary how he felt like he needed to go apologize to every guy in the locker room for not doing what he was required to do by jobbing to Brock. But Stone Cold also says the reason why he didn't do that is because it wasn't built properly. It was on no build, just a spur of the moment thing. He was supposed to go out there and lose to Brock. So Stone Cold said he jobbed to anybody, but with the proper build, and maybe you build it up to a pay-per-view or something like that, something big. So, but then
because wasn't that the match that you're talking about? That was a King of the Ring match.
It was a
I think Lesnar won.
Yeah, it was like on Raw, I thought. Yeah. So, it would be a shocking moment for sure. But at the same time, I get Austin's point. And to me, from a booking standpoint, Austin was right, in my opinion, to not want to do that. Now, but then he said he went, I don't know if he said he had to or he felt like he needed to go apologize to everybody in the locker room. And Vince talked about how he was hurt by that he left. To me, it's like Austin was in the right here. Now, I understand, maybe not do it as your boss says. Yeah.
He was, but at the same time, too, he always you got to do business.
Agreed. Yeah. I get that, too. Don't get me wrong. But I just felt like, I don't know. I just feel like that's kind of crappy that Austin.
Not really. Associated with work. You're not happy with the way they do things there, but you still fucking do it, right? Mm. If you don't do it, then what you do? You take off or you bitch and you complain about it.
And I think Austin even said something like that, B. I think he said something along those lines, like, it's still my job. I still got to go out there and.
Yeah, regardless of whether or not you as a fan feels like, nah, Austin's right. Same time, that's what he gets paid to do. He didn't do it.
Yeah, good point.
But they definitely should have. It's just like when Hogan and Goldberg went at it. They could have built that so much more when Goldberg took the belt off him in Atlanta. Yep. I mean, I think Goldberg said he's like, I'm just sitting on the couch and I get a call Sunday, hey, you're winning the title in Atlanta on tomorrow night. It's like that could, and they still within like 48 hours or something like that, they sold that place out. Mm-hmm. But they could have done so much more money if they would have built that properly. That's the problem with a lot of things these days. They rush into this shit instead of slow burning it, build it, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
And But yeah, that whole Austin thing. I mean, you're right, Eric. I agree 100%. Stone Cold was the smart one on that. They could have made major money off of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Austin still he should have done what was right. And
and Austin lived by that whole.
apologized. No one told him to. He felt the need to do it because he knew in the long run he was wrong.
Yeah, and he lives by that whole, do the job, do what you got to do.
But he's also on his podcast told like younger talent. He's like, if you feel like something's not right, you should say something and maybe kind of go against Vince, because a lot of people don't go against Vince nowadays. I don't feel like
there's a difference between saying something and bringing it up and then just you're literally going home.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed. Right. And so I mean, I see that. Yeah.
But also too, that was a different time.
It was, and a lot of things are different now. But if they did what they did with Brock and Rock with Austin, that would have been a big deal. It was a big deal when Brock won the title off Rock. But they built it to SummerSlam, and it made more sense to do there.
Not everybody could do that too, though.
Yeah.
You get a Jey Uso going back there and doing something like that. And
you ain't about to be working there no more.
An Austin or a Cena or a Roman, someone like that could, they could get away with a little more.
And I wonder if sometimes maybe that's why they don't want certain people to get over sometimes, because they don't want anybody to kind of push back on them, against what they want to do. I mean,
could be.
There's gonna be some of that in there. All right, well, that was the A&E biography reviews a little bit. I did like the awesome one, like I said. I need to get caught up on the others, but they sound like they're at least well done. I'm interested to see what they do with the Ultimate Warrior, because we know how.
This week? Is that this week's?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think the next one was Bret Hart, I think, which is another one that could be interesting.
Bret Hart was just shitting on Triple H.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, we'll see what happens with that then. All right. So let's get into these rapid fire recaps, and we'll do two. Then we'll do the Mike's trivia segment, and we'll do two more. We'll wrap this up for tonight. So let's start off. 5 minutes starting now. Monday Night Raw from this week.
I'm sick and fucking tired of them having Nia slip every week. This shit is terrible. Quit fucking doing it. You're beating a dead horse. Just like when you put Lana through a table 9 fucking times. I don't care if there was a payoff or not. Quit making the bitch slip. It's stupid.
What's the payoff for this?
I don't know.
She doesn't slip one week. Like, you know what I'm saying? What's the payoff?
Yeah, I'm not sure. RKO or RK Bro, I'm sorry. I gotta admit, it's starting to grow on me a little bit, just because Randy Orton. That's the only reason. Randy Orton is.
What's you gonna have fucking snakes and birds flying out of your house this time?
Bruh.
Don't say. Don't ever say.
Don't say
never.
that shit too loud.
Yeah, they'll hear you. But they are 2-0 now. But they faced off against Elias and Riker after Elias and Riker were trying to hit the New Day backstage with more tomatoes, but they accidentally hit Randy Orton with them. Riddle almost killed Elias during the finish of this match. He did a flip off the top rope. He landed right on Elias' head with his full body weight. I felt bad for him.
Wear on the head.
But other than that, I'm starting to enjoy RK Bro a little bit, but I mean, I get what Thomas last week was saying. It's entertaining to a degree, but yeah, I don't think it should last very long. It'll get old real quick. We also had Angel Garza. I'll give him. This is part of my highs. Angel Garza got a little shine here. They finally got him on TV a little bit more. He won a good match. But the thing after the match was he took a rose, stuffed it up Drew Gulak's ass, and he then proceeded to wind up and kick it up his ass. So it's kind of a weird little thing he's doing now, kind of like his calling card. But I was glad to see him get a little time. And Mansoor was another one. Mansoor got signed to Raw, so rest in peace, Mansoor. And the funny thing was, by the end of the night, he was already buried. They put him in with Sheamus, and I don't think they actually had a match. But by the end of the night,
they had a match. It was an open challenge. I think Sheamus is doing open challenge matches, but not for the title.
Right, he's just destroying guys. And Mansoor was destroyed.
I don't know if this was this. I'm pretty sure it was this week. Humberto Carrillo came out.
Yeah, it was him and Mansoor.
Yeah, well, no, Humberto caused the DQ.
Oh, okay. But then Sheamus proceeded to beat them both up after, I think.
I'm pretty sure of that, yeah.
Yeah, so, again, I'm glad you're introducing a new guy, but if you kill him on the first night, it's kind of
that's the thing. That's also the first loss he suffered, I think. And
he had like a 49-50 win streak on 205 Live. And they, of course, Vince ain't going to recognize that probably. He's just going to do what he wants to do. So there's that. AJ and Omos finally returned after a WrestleMania break. They literally had the exact same match with the New Day they had at WrestleMania. when Kofi about killed himself diving to the outside. AJ Styles had to save his life during a trust fall. Also, we had Charlotte defeating Dana Brooke. It was a pretty bad match. Rhea Ripley, I think she's kind of dead already on the main roster. Sonya Deville, for no apparent reason, puts Charlotte in the title match at Backlash, so it's a triple threat now with Asuka, Charlotte, and Rhea. So there's no explanation. The only thing I can think of is maybe Charlotte's got something on Sonya and she's manipulating her. But I don't know if they're doing that or just yeah.
There's literally no indication for Charlotte being in this match other than just fucking being there.
Yeah. We also got Morrison versus Damian Priest. Damian Priest won after a distraction finish where Miz accidentally distracted Morrison, the moist voice of Monday Night Raw himself. So I don't know if they're teasing a Morrison-Miz breakup here, but it sounds like
good.
By the way, on that, apparently Priest has been feuding with the Miz, Morrison, and a little bit of Riker and Elias since fucking February.
Okay.
And I think he debuted in February.
Yeah.
So.
Also, we had Lucha House Party defeated Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander clean. And after the match, Cedric Alexander beats up, or no, he didn't beat up. He broke up with Shelton after the match. So I don't know if they're repackaging Cedric Alexander, but Shelton is probably soon to be in catering.
Yep.
Sucks to be
if he's not already there.
Yeah. I don't know why you break up a tag team. You need tag teams, but anyway.
Well, they got Arcade Bro. That's all they need.
Yeah, I guess. In the main event, saw Bobby Lashley versus Braun Strowman. Another distraction finish because Drew McIntyre was on commentary. Lashley wins with a spear after Drew and Braun got into it on the outside, and then the show goes off the air with Drew McIntyre hitting the Claymore on both guys. Another triple threat for Backlash for the title. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of there for me.
It's just the same old shit every week.
Lots of DQ finishes, distractions, and rematches. It's kind of the thing Raw's been doing a lot lately.
Yeah,
unfortunately, but it wasn't as bad as last week, in my opinion. But kind of same with NXT. But that is now the 5 minutes for Raw. So we'll move on to NXT. So we'll start that clock countdown. Whoops, wrong button. Hold on a second there. Okay, Raw or NXT, 5 minutes. The match, the show started off really good, actually. I thought Leon Ruff versus Isaiah Swerve Scott in a Falls Count Anywhere match. This was a great match until the interference finish, which is something. But as bad as I rag on WWE right now for doing these interference and distraction finishes, this was the only match on NXT that had this. So good job WWE and NXT for that. I can't remember. I think his name was AJ Francis, one of Isaiah Swerve Scott's entourage, came down and dropped Leon Ruff on his head on the barricade outside. It looked like it sucked, by the way. Yeah, so Isaiah Swerve Scott picks up the win there. Okay. Then we had Austin Theory with Gargano and Regal's office. They were looking for Regal, but I guess what's her name? The new girl with the dog. Frankie Monet was in there. No, it was Scarlett Bordeaux. It was Scarlett Bordeaux. I'm sorry, or Scarlett. She was sitting there, and of course she's popping out of her, attire. And I guess Austin Theory then commented on. He said, "quote Those are the biggest things I've ever seen." But then he looked down and was referencing her fingernails. But obviously the innuendo was there. And that, yeah, so it's kind of funny, but at the same time, it's like, okay. And I guess that ticked off Karrion Kross, so they set up a match against Austin Theory next week. Regal called that. We had Asher Hill versus Cameron Grimes. I'm not sold on Cameron Grimes yet. I'm not going to lie. His comedy is a little too much for me at the moment, but he's got good ring skills, so I'll give him that. And I think the stuff he's doing with Ted DiBiase, which he tried to go to a bar after his squash match, and he was going to get in the VIP section. Ted DiBiase apparently had already bought out the entire bar. He rolled up in a limousine, laughed at his face, basically, and then they had this great shot where they were panning up from Cameron Grimes, and Grimes was just going, DiBiase! So it was kind of funny. So I'll give him that. That was kind of cute. Taya Valkyrie, or the Frankie Monet, so far I think is being wasted, and she's a lot like Lacey Evans on the main roster right now. They're just kind of she's kind of acting like she's better than everybody else, that sort of thing. Ciampa and Toothless Timmy, though, versus Grizzled Young Veterans was another great match, though. NXT's got good matches on the show up and down. Submission win for Ciampa and Thatcher, which looks to me like they're setting up a 3-way with MSK, or maybe a 4-way even with Imperium for the tag titles probably going forward. That could be cool. That'd be good. That'd be a great matches. So good tag team development. I'll give them credit for that. Better than the main roster with the tag team division. Karrion Kross promo. This was a normal Monday Night Raw segment where the champion will come out, do a promo, which Karrion Kross did a good job at. But then we had Pete Dunne's music hit. Pete Dunne come out. Then we had Kyle O'Reilly's music hit. He come out. Then we had Finn Balor's music hit. He come out. And then it basically ended up with them all wanting a shot at the title. And it ended up being a brawl, which ended up with Kross standing tall until from behind, Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory attacked him, setting up the feud with Austin Theory next week on the show. And then Gargano probably wants a shot at the title as well. So it was just a typical set up a title match, main event segment type deal. Then we had
This could set up a tournament for that number one contendership.
It's possible.
You got guys that are
at least four guys.
So.
Yeah, and regardless of whether you like the setup with the interview segment, all guys could work pretty good in my opinion. Yeah. So I'd be fine with that. We then had Sarai versus Zeta Ramir in a squash match. It was a good match, but Sarai, though, I was impressed with her more last week. In this match, she kept kicking Zeta Ramir directly in the head hard multiple times with drop kicks. And just so I don't know if she's just working that strong style and isn't backing off too much, but it looked like it sucked for Zeta here. We also had LA Knight defeating Jake Atlas. It was a short and clean match. It was okay. Legado del Fantasma had a promo and, talking about how they were going to maybe go up against MSK. And then, of course, we got Kushida got on the big screen with his title and challenged the challenger, Santos Escobar. You'd think that would have been reversed with Santos challenging Kushida.
Man. When you have a fighting champion, he's like, nah, man, we got to settle this.
I mean, and they're going to set that up next week on NXT. Next week we got that Cruiserweight title match, then Austin Theory, Karrion Kross, and then they also have Raquel Gonzalez and Mercedes Martinez for the women's title again. So 3 big matches for the show. So good booking going forward. Then the show ended up with the street fight for the women's tag team championship. Ember Moon, Shotzi Blackheart versus Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell The Way, where it was a brutal match. A lot of fun to watch. A lot of spots that probably didn't go as planned. A couple ladders and tables that didn't break. Looked like it sucked for the participants, but it was good to watch. A lot of crazy spots. And we have new women's tag team champions. The Way win the belts here. I'm perfectly fine with that. Of course, they're doing a lot with Indy, with Dexter Lumis right now. But the match was great. I highly recommend checking this out. It was one of the best of the week, regardless of some of the misses. So, any thoughts on that? Anybody else watch it?
No.
Not really.
I was shit for wrestling this week. Like I said, there was a lot of things going on in my personal life.
There's a lot of times we can't watch every show. That's a lot of wrestling, unfortunately. But much better than last week. NXT was very, very good, except for the finish of the first match. So, big marks here. All right, so let's take halftime, and let's do Digger's trivia segment. So we're going to do our weekly Mike's Fun Facts and Trivia. For those of you who don't know, our buddy Mike sends in some fun facts about wrestling of old, and sometimes new, just depending, and he sends us in a trivia question, and we are doing a bit of a competition leading up to SummerSlam. As of right now, I believe the points are Brandon is in the lead with 2 points.
Damn right I am.
And I think it's Damon and Tony at 1.5 apiece, and then I'm pulling up the rear at 1 point as of right now. So I got to get caught up here because we're going to do something for the loser or the 3 losers. We're going to figure out what we're going to do here. But so we're going to cut to the video right now. We're going to watch it, and then we're going to see what we can do about the answer to the question. So here we go.
In 1953, Capital Wrestling Corporation was born. It was founded by Jess McMahon, the grandfather of Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon Sr., Vince's father. In 1963, they became the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, breaking away from the NWA following a dispute over the NWA World Championship between Lou Thez and the original Nature Boy, Buddy Rodgers. Now, of course, the Worldwide Wrestling Federation eventually became the WWF during the title reign of Bob Backlund. The WWF World Championship would be held by many great wrestlers. And in 2002, of course, we all know the pandas from the World Wildlife Fund attacked, and the World Wrestling Federation was no more. They had to get the F out, and it became World Wrestling Entertainment. Now, the question I have for you is this. Do you know who was the last recognized WWF World Champion? And for extra credit, what year did the Worldwide Wrestling Federation become the WWF? I'll give you a clue. I think I mentioned that it was during the championship reign of Bob Backlund, who became the world champion in February of 1978 when he defeated superstar Billy Graham. He would hold the championship until December 26th of 1983. So you got between 1978 and 1983 to make your guess for extra credit. We hope you all have hit like. We hope you all have hit subscribe. And I hope you enjoy the show, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
The question is, in 2002, the World Wildlife Fund, the panda guys attacked, and I guess they bought the WWF, and they couldn't use WWF. They had to change to WWE. What was the last WWF champion that was recognized before the pandas invaded? So I'm guessing it's 2002, but I don't know if that's for sure or not. But, so yeah, and then the extra credit was, when did the Worldwide Wrestling Federation become the WWF? It was during Bob Backlund's reign. That was between 1970, I think he said 78 and 83. So it's some of the one of those years in between. So yeah. I'll go ahead and tell you my pick here, since we are still recording. Like I said, my choice for the last WWF champion to hold the WWF title before the WWE transition happened, since it was in 2002, I'm going Triple H. As for the extra credit, I'm going to take my birth year, 1981, to see if that, just for good luck. Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
WWF champion, The Rock.
That's possible.
Well, hold on. No, Austin.
Okay.
As for WWF, 1982.
Okay. Predator Tony, you guys are up.
83
Okay.
is my birth year, and I'll go The Rock, I guess.
And Backlund did leave late 83, I think, from what he said. So, Tony?
I will go with 1982 because that is my birth year. And I want to say either Rock or Austin.
Boy, I just opened up the answer.
All right, I'm gonna go 82 for the bonus point, and I'm gonna go with Austin. So I'm gonna go with Damon. I agree with him.
Okay. Well, this is interesting. His answer reads, the man who is recognized as the last WWF World Champion is none other than two-time WWE Hall of Famer scumbag racist Hulk Hogan. None of us had that one. He for no good. Yeah, he goes on to say, he for no good reason other than Vince was an idiot, won the title from Triple H in April of 2002 at the Backlash event, because I believe Triple H won the title from Jericho at that event after his knee injury, I believe. On May 6, 2002, the Evil Pandas forced the WWF to get the F out and become WWE. The WWF was no more after having been called such since March 1979, when they went from WWF to just WWF. FYI, Vince came to his senses at the Judgment Day show in May, a month later, when thankfully the Orange Goblin dropped the title to The Undertaker.
That checks out.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
I remember now.
Just looked it up after that.
Damn.
He was the last WWF champion and the first WWE champion.
Who, Hogan?
No, he wasn't the first WWE champion.
You talking about Hogan?
That would have been Taker.
Yeah, Taker. Well, yeah, I guess Hogan might have been, because he carried it through the transition, maybe.
Yeah, he carried it through the transition.
That's possible. But yeah, I was close. I said Triple H. He was the guy he lost the title to.
So what was the bonus? What was the bonus year?
Yeah. In 1979. Since March, when they went from WWF to WWE.
So we all
we all missed that part. So we all didn't get nothing this week. Par for the course for the Mike's Fun Facts and Trivia segment here. I'm telling him he thought this one was much easier. I mean, it was a little easier, I'm not gonna lie, but at least it's years that we kind of all semi remember.
Okay, he said he also main evented the last WWF pay-per-view and the first WWE pay-per-view. So yes, he was your first WWE champion because he went over in the transition. That is fucking shit.
That's crazy. At least it only lasted a month, but still. All right, let's bang out these last two shows. This is considered the most anticipated show of the week, I suppose, by a lot of people. But let's get into 5 minutes now. AEW Blood and Guts.
I heard it was not. It was. I mean, a lot of people were upset.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Go ahead, Tony.
I was just gonna say I got nothing to say. I'm letting Bully Ray speak for me. Go listen to episode 654, busted open from this week, and Bully Ray will speak for me.
Okay.
Ooh.
I don't know exactly everything he said, but I believe they were kind of along the lines that I think, I could be wrong, of the blood and guts match itself. Great match, but the ending was shot poorly. Obviously, I don't think anybody on the internet is wanting Chris Jericho to fall off a cage onto solid concrete. I don't think anybody's saying that. However, I will fully agree.
No, a lot of people are saying that, and they're idiots.
There may be some. I'm not going to deny that. But I think for the most part, what most people were just wanting them to have shot that better to where it didn't look so obvious. To the WWE's credit, a lot of times they do shoot that better. There's also been times they haven't shot it real well. But to me, it's kind of reminiscent of the barbed wire death match they did. The ending. Yeah, granted, the ending is a big part of the match as a whole, so a lot of people are going to remember the last thing they saw, absolutely. And AEW's got to get better with their finishes, no doubt about that. I'm going to flat out admit it. However, both of those matches before the finish were great, from what I can gather here. They worked it well. They had the guys come in first two guys were in for 5 minutes. It was every 2 minutes after that. I thought that was spaced out really well. They had good spots. They maybe a little more blood than they need to have done for sure. Because to me, I think Bully even and might have mentioned this too on Busted Open, that the only person in the match who really needed to bleed was MJF, maybe Jericho. But everybody else's blood was just gratuitous, and it didn't really matter. But the spots were good. There were a few botches where Guevara was trying to jump off the ropes and things like that. But for the most part, it was brutal. It was about everything you would expect out of a War Games type of match. But that's kind of my thoughts on the main event. Anybody else have thoughts on the main event itself?
It's like Bully said that, and he said this when it came down to the barbed wire match too. Vince McMahon said, "You're only going to remember the finish,"
and that's not wrong.
You really remember anything other than no? That's what everyone's talking about, the finish. It doesn't matter whether that was a perfect match. They're talking about the finish. That's all you're going to remember is the finish.
And that is a big part of it. You're not wrong. Anybody else?
I didn't see the shit, so.
I mean, I think it's worth checking out, if nothing else. But if that's all we got to say about that main event match, I guess I'll move on to a little bit of the rest of the show. There were some, outside of the first two matches with Moxley and Kingston versus Nakazawa and Omega, and Cody Rhodes versus QT Marshall. For the most part, good matches, but the big criticism is the referees. They have got to start calling these matches more as shoots or something, because you had blatant.
They got to call it more consistently.
That too, because we had blatant, use of foreign objects in the Moxley Omega tag match, and then in the Cody match, you had Cody was going to go use his weight belt as a weapon. The ref stopped him, warned him it'd be a DQ, but then immediately QT Marshall uses his weight belt to attack Cody. No DQ, right in front of the official, and then Arn Anderson gets involved on the outside where with Marshall, he's shoving his head into the.
That's QT right in front of the ref.
Yeah,
Nothing.
Ref doesn't do anything. Now, outside of those spots, the matches were great, in my opinion. But those are big nitpicks, and that needs to change.
You can't say it was great if there are blatant oversights like that.
I should say more like well worked. I should say because the Cody QT match, I feel like you could have built to at least a main event on Dynamite itself. But yeah, you're right. With those big glaring holes, yeah, it is.
I seen Cody Blade. I seen Cody Blade right out in the blue.
Yeah.
I seen Jericho not only give a signal, but Blade as well. There's too much shit that is being let slide by.
They have to get their camera angles better.
Bitch with AEW. This is what I'm talking about. I'm not saying WWE is perfect.
Agreed.
I'm not saying Ring of Honor. Everyone has. But God damn it, you cannot sit here and. I mean, everybody sucks AEW's dick like they're the greatest thing fucking walking the earth right now. And they are the farthest. They're a fucking wet dream at this moment, if that. They need to grow, and they need to start getting their shit together.
And hopefully they will learn from these mistakes.
And it's been that way since the start of the company. What was the first Double or Nothing with Dustin versus Cody?
Mm-hmm.
You clearly see Dustin cut way too fucking deep.
Oh man,
that was
that rough. You see him just he did.
We watched that pay-per-view together.
Yeah. Now, I want to rush through real quick because we're about out of time. But the one thing that they did set up was Miro versus Darby next week for the TNT title, which they threw Darby down. They took a tumble down concrete stairs, which is probably going to set up the fact that he's not going to be 100%. And Miro will probably win the title because you can't beat Miro now. He's got to win the belt. Darby could take the loss. Also, they're setting up Orange versus Pac for number one contendership spot against Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing. It'll be the first main event with no limitations on the crowd. It'll be a full capacity crowd, so Orange Cassidy will probably win because he's over with the crowd, regardless of whether you like him as a character or not. It makes sense to put him in with a crowd, I suppose. Bucks, if
he fucking wins that title,
he's not going to win the title. If he does though, I agree with you. It won't happen though, but I think Kenny will put him over. Young Bucks versus SCU next week for the tag titles. SCU is probably going to break up because they said the next match they lose, they break it up. So Young Bucks are going to win and probably go on to face Moxley and Kingston at Double or Nothing. So it should be good. And Yugi Nagata versus Moxley next week for the IWGP US title. So a good show, I think. Again, NXT and AEW both promote their shows a week ahead of time. Go big marks for that. So let's move on to last show of the week, and we'll get out of here. 5 minutes for SmackDown this week, starting now. The show opened up with Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. It opened up with Roman Reigns out in the ring talking to, he's the greatest ever, that sort of thing. Acknowledge me. When Jimmy Uso returned, we got the brother of Jey Uso's finally back. And it kind of devolved when Cesaro came out there. Rollins attacked him from behind. And the match, it was going Seth Rollins' way until Jey Uso looked like he was going to hit Cesaro for Rollins, and Rollins refused, said he doesn't need help because he ain't Roman. And he didn't need his help. So then Jimmy, let's see here. They kicked, Jimmy interfered and kicked Rollins for kind of getting in Jay's face. And that allowed Cesaro to get the win. So Cesaro will now be facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania Backlash for the Universal title. So little dissension in Roman's crew there.
Not really.
Well, we'll get to that. It's getting worse by the end of the show.
Okay.
And it's interesting to note, Teddy Long came out and booked this match because they were doing throwback SmackDown this week. So it was funny. They kept showing the old SmackDown fist in a 3D CGI graphic like they do for WrestleMania, but they could not get apparently the actual set in there, which to me it's like you couldn't spring to do that. I get you had the Thunderdome set up, but it's kind of like I think everybody would have rather seen the actual set. But anyway, backstage, Teddy Long and Sonya set up a 10-man tag match for later. They tried to get Sami Zayn to dance with Teddy Long, but that was the last we saw of Teddy, I believe. A bunch of matches that really didn't do much, really tell all the stories. Carmella defeated Ruby Riott by submission. Bayley then had a segment where she come out and celebrate all the women's champions of WWE's history, including like Alundra Blaze, Jacqueline, Lita, Trish, Ivory, Beth Phoenix, and then got to Bianca Belair when then she started ripping into Belair. Belair come out to kind of confront her, and then of course Bayley left her laying, setting up their title match at Backlash. Then we had Jimmy and Jay. Well, Jimmy earlier confronted Roman Reigns saying, I ain't nobody's bitch, and I'm not going to take orders from you, basically. And he won't talk to him like he does to his brother Jay. So Jimmy's flat out standing up to Roman here, saying he's not going to do this stuff. So Jimmy and Jay confront each other later. Jimmy's trying to tell Jay, dude, I get he's family, but he wouldn't even be Universal Champion without you this year. So he's trying to talk sense into Jay. Jay's trying to tell Jimmy, but we're all family, dude. When he's good, we're all better for it. So they have a good back and forth here. I thought was pretty creative. So I like the fact that they're maybe playing Jimmy and Jay against each other a little bit. I don't think
I would love to see a match between the two of them.
That may happen. I'm not sure.
I think Jimmy.
Pretty sure I called this.
Jay is too far gone at this point.
Yeah, Jimmy though has just been off for a year. Come back as fresh to this.
Yeah.
So it's a nice wrinkle they're adding. So high marks to this. This is great storytelling in my opinion.
I think Jay's too far gone, and I think he'll end up fighting his own brother over this.
It's very possible. And we had a little bit more of that before the end of the show. We had Dominic Mysterio facing Dolph Ziggler. Dominic won with the roll-up, kind of their thing with roll-ups here lately. At least it wasn't a distraction. It wasn't. There might have been a little interfering going on with the two other guys on the outside. But I think the Mysterios are winning the tag belts at Backlash because they're getting a tag title shot against the Dirty Dogs. Is that what they're calling them now? Yeah. So that'll happen. Then we had Reginald versus Tamina. Why? I don't know. I don't know. It ended in a DQ when I think Baszler and Nia Jax got involved. They beat up Tamina and Natalya after. They're setting up their tag match for next week. At least it's not at the pay-per-view, so I'll give them that. Then we had the main event, the 10-man tag. It saw Apollo Crews King Corbin, Otis, Chad Gable, and Sami Zayn versus Big E, the Street Profits, Owens, and Nakamura. The heels win this. It's just a typical SmackDown 10-man tag. It really wasn't. I don't think there's a whole lot of story building in this. It was just kind of throw some guys together.
You guys are here. We'll give you something to do. Here we go.
That's kind of what I got out of it. But again, the whole story for this big show is mostly Cesaro becoming the number one contender. They reference Daniel Bryan, which is another topic we didn't really get into. We'll talk real quick after this. But Roman confronts Jimmy about all this stuff in the ring. It kind of ended after Cesaro stormed the ring. And Jimmy was trying to protect his brother Jay when Cesaro took them all out. So they're just building this dissension between the Uso family. So again, good progression. I like where they're going with this. I want to see where it happens with Jimmy for sure going forward. But that's the end of that show. But I do want to get in. We did kind of neglect to mention Daniel Bryan lost the Loser Leaves SmackDown match last week. He is apparently, his contract has expired. What do we think is going to happen with Daniel Bryan moving forward?
He'll go to New Japan or ROH.
He's going to resign.
I think
They're
so too.
Throw so much money at him and give him a very, very light contract, and I think that's what he's holding out for.
A lighter schedule.
Lighter schedule, more money.
They got him. I think they got him on a lighter schedule the last time he was up on a contract.
Mm-hmm. Well, not only that,
or when he came back.
Right. Not only that, the Bella Twins are supposed to be coming back later this fall. I have a hard time believing Daniel's going to leave, but you never know. I mean, Daniel's kind of his own guy, does his own thing a little bit. I would love to see him in some other matches with some other talent in other companies for sure. I'm not saying it has to be AEW. It doesn't. But I would definitely.
Yeah, you ain't saying it's got to be, but you want it to be. But here's the thing.
I think it could be good, but yeah.
Like I said before, they already have too many fucking chefs in the kitchen.
I agree there.
You bring another one in there, he'll just get blown through the wayside. Like, there's no point.
To me, though, this wouldn't be like Christian, though. This would be a big deal if that were to happen. Now, again, it don't have to.
Christian was supposed to be your big deal.
It was supposed to, and they've kind of dropped the ball a little bit with him, I'm not going to lie. But I do think Daniel Bryan and Omega would be cool, or Daniel Bryan and some of the other guys they have. But, again, not everybody has to go to AEW. I'm not saying that.
He'll be going to the wayside.
He'll be yeah. He'll be re-signing with WWE. Let's be honest. I mean, I would assume so. Like Tony said, I wholly agree with him. And how many times can we say I agree with Tony on certain wrestling things? So there we go. Yeah, hey, it does happen in a blue moon. Yeah. But with that, guys,
you sound like that when you say yeah.
But with that, everybody, we've kind of run a little long tonight, so we're going to get out of here. But thank you for watching episode 4 of the Fat Boy Cartel. If you like what you saw here, please comment down below. Hit the like and subscribe button. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button, and definitely hit the notification bell so you get all the notifications about when we put up new content on our channel. And until our next podcast, guys.
Before you sign off,
okay?
Is that the Millennium Falcon on your head?
Yeah, it is.
I swear to God, I've been staring at that thing like, what the fuck is that? All right, my bad. Go ahead.
All right, guys, take it easy. Take care. Bye.
Yeah, ready to go, man. Lock and load. That's right. I swear to God that I can drop and roll. Yeah, I got a shot and I ain't stopping, no. That's how I know that I'm unstoppable.